Moonbeam.
What you think about?
Yeah, I think people might be over it.
Let them burn it out. Sell them to the richest buyer. They wanna let the world decay. They tell us lies and fade away, fade away. We feel betrayed. We were raised to lose the race. Wake at the back of the pack, we kill it anyway. Listen up now, because we're never dropping out. Beat the hours, beat the big house. The brains are bigger than the doubt. We've been thinking for ourselves, never let the truth fade away. This is bigger than ourselves, we won't let the world burn away, burn away. We feel betrayed. We were raised to lose the race. Wake at the back of the pack, kill it anyway. To blame, haters face the world's mistakes. Wake at the back of the pack, kill it anyway.
shit. Oh, there it is. Okay. I forgot and already did the Facebook thing. That's cool. Whatever. Let me change accounts. Like. Change back. Let me share the Facebook and then we'll get started. Welcome, everybody. Did something happen at the Correspondence Center? You know what I think is hilarious? Trump is such a weak little bitch. He wouldn't allow a comedian, usually a comedian hosts the White House Correspondence Center. This is the first one he's ever had, okay? Trump's such a weak little bitch. He would not let a comedian host. Instead, they hired Oz Perlman, the mentalist. And he couldn't predict that there was going to be a shooting at the White House Correspondents' Dinner? No fucking way, dude. That would have been it. Prove it to us. You had your chance. You can tell me Joe Rogan's PIN number to his debit card, but you didn't know that someone was going to show up and shoot up the show you were at? Wild.
Hey Daddies, it's me, the Linda Binda from TikTok. I wanted to make this video because I wanted to thank you for watching Cold Beer Confessionals with Will Bird. I think that's just incredible. I've watched a few episodes and I'm just like very intrigued. But you know what I'm most intrigued in is Big Daddy's meat stick. I heard that it's very thick, like a good old German sausage. You know, Linda and her coochie loves that. Oh, never mind. Let's not go there. Anyways, I hope you have a good show and enjoy it as you can. There's a lot of weird things that go on, especially when it comes from the realm of Linda Bindaland. So, enjoy the show. Thanks for watching. Peace out.
Welcome. Oh, what is that? Welcome, everybody. I am Will Bird, and this is the Cold Beer Confessional. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for being here. Welcome. How's it going? It's the weekend, so really no new news on the no news on the house. Hopefully we get some news Monday. Oh, it's a spider web. Okay. Nothing really happened or whatever, but we do have the White House Correspondents' Dinner. And Trump has only ever been to one of these. I honestly think this is Trump's villain, like, origination moments where he decides that he's going to destroy the entire country, because the last one he went to was for Obama, and they made fun of Trump quite a bit. They make fun of everybody, right? They start with the president. They end with the president when they're doing the little bit, but they'll go over Melania and everybody in the cabinet and other well-known politicians. Sometimes they'll even hit people in the media, like if they've been the center of a story recently. It's like a roast, kind of, right? Or like when you watch a better or a decent host at like the Emmys or whatever, and it's always a comedian. Trump can't handle a comedian, right? Trump can't handle people disagreeing with him. So instead of getting a comedian, he gets Oz Perlman, the bullshit, fake-ass mentalist guy. So let's see what happened. Trump has never been to one of these as president, ever. He just canceled them. He just didn't have them. He didn't want people to pick on him, right? They did make remarks after this. We'll get to that too. It's a big dinner. Everybody's eating. White House correspondents, so all the media is there. That's the reason. They're celebrating each other and joking, and a successful year of covering the president, kind of. It's got to be heavily restricted. Like, you have to have an invitation to get in. There's no other way. There's Oz. Basically, everything Oz does is just it's just a lie, right? A lot of it's built up for on cameras. He has people install different things on their phones, or like he'll say something stupid like, here, I want you to go to this website. And it's a website that looks like Google, okay? It's not Google. It looks like Google. A magician actually made this website. And what you do is you say you have them pick a childhood friend that they don't even think about anymore, or something stupid like that. He's done that one before. He has them Google their name on a website that looks like Google to make sure it's not a common name. He does this, or he has them like write it down in their notepad, and he's got like an app on their phone that's sending them all the information they put into their phone, right? Anyways, he does things like this, or has them write something down on a piece of paper and keep the paper with you. The reason I'm making you write down your answer on a piece of paper and not just asking you live on air is because people try to screw with me. They want to be the person who exposed Oz, so they'll change their answers. So what I want you to do is write it down on this piece of paper. What they don't know is like that pad and paper that he has them use, or sometimes the pen, records their pen strokes and the names, and it records exactly what they wrote down. He already knows going in, and then the rest of it's theatrics. Like, oh, I watched your eye move 4 times. That means their first name starts with an E, right? The rest of it's theatrics. He often gets that wrong. But then he's like, oh, yeah, that makes sense because you're this type of personality. Anyways, it's all bullshit. There is no mentalist. There is no looking into your eyes or seeing you mentally count in your head. That's all a lie. I'm pretty sure he hired a private investigator to follow around Joe Rogan for his PIN number. And that's all done behind the scenes shit. And then when he gets on the show, he acts like it's just spur of the moment kind of deal. He's been exposed by several people. She's turning into a real life Miss Piggy, I think. J.D. Vance's kid. Was that the gunshots there? Nobody even reacted? Oh my God. Oh my God. Did you see that? Don't wave like that. Can you guys see this right arm right here? Oh, no, don't do it. Do one of these. Do one of these. When you start doing one of these, and you got that wave action going on, bad luck. Double fisting it. Looks like Trump's neck. See, right there, he's got a pen and paper and having them write down answers. Like, oh, I just want to keep you honest, so you write, don't show it to me, keep it in your pocket. But this pad records every stroke. Sometimes it's the pen. The pen can record the stroke. They have little microcontrollers and shit in them, and they record what's being written. The pen's a little more complicated. The pen that I saw, I don't know, they all work like this. The pen that I saw had a tracker on, like an infrared tracker on like a portion of the pen near the top and on the very top. And by using a camera that can track that infrared tracker, right? Like it just shows up as reflection and infrared. It could tell, like, if the top of the pen moves this way, then the bottom of the pen had to move this way, kind of deal. Yeah, that had to be the shots, right? There's the commotion. Sorry, I was watching something. So they've kind of realized some type of commotion is coming on. Well, they never made it to Trump. It was like in the lobby. And I'm sure it was like at the very first checkpoint. I'm sure there was multiple checkpoints to get in. Probably wanted to get in the building. Probably wanted to get in like to where outside of this room. Probably wanted to get into this room. That's my Second Amendment. Instantly the phones come out. All these people just waiting to die. Yeah, that is true. So when Viktor Orban's election didn't look like a sure thing, Putin reached out to him and said, hey, we can stage an assassination attempt if you think that would help you with the election. Which brings into question Trump's assassination attempt, because when that happened, I was like, he sealed the election. There's no fucking way, right? The fight, the standing, the blood running out. He sealed this election. He's won. And Putin is like, yeah, we can do that. No problem. Some of them don't even get out of their chair. I mean, some of them are at least down like on a knee or something. Some of them don't even get out of their chairs. They're like, eh. It'd probably be the bad time to rush the stage with like an umbrella. Were they handing out cocaine? Who's screaming, God bless America? The only country shit like this happens in over and over and over and over and over and over and over again. They must have heard the threat was neutralized or whatever. Poor Oz Perlman. He missed his big break here. Mop up the blood and let's start the show. Damn. I would not put it past Trump for him to stage an assassination attempt. 100%. They all know they're in the tank. Secretly, some of Congress are preparing to, like, how are they going to stand when the impeachment comes? Like, after midterms. How are they going to vote? What are they going to do? Will they have enough pull to actually convict or just impeach or, you know? So that's the commotion. Make sure that guy pushes in all the chairs, right? Yeah. All the chairs are pushed in now. And we ended up with this. Dude, Oz Perlman could have shut everybody up. He could have been like, in 6.5 minutes, a man named James is going to come through that door with a firearm. Like, he could have done it right there. Nope. He was too busy guessing a childhood friend you haven't thought about in 10 years.
Well, thank you very much.
Why are they all dressed up? That's a fancy gaggle.
And that was very unexpected, but incredibly acted upon by Secret Service and law enforcement. And this was an event dedicated to freedom of speech that was supposed to bring
Not really. I mean, because you wouldn't even let a comedian come make fun of you.
together members of both parties with members of the press. And in a certain way it did, because the fact that they just unified. I saw a room that was just totally unified. It was in one way a very beautiful thing to see. A man charged at a security checkpoint armed with multiple weapons, and he was taken down by some very brave members of the Secret Service, and they acted very quickly and have just released.
My bad, sorry.
For purposes of transparency, clarity, I've ordered it to be put out. You probably have it by now. Put out on Truth and put out on many other platforms. A tape showing the violence of this thug that attacked our Constitution, and also showing how quickly Secret Service and law enforcement acted on our country's behalf. Really did a great job. One officer was shot, but saved by the fact that he was wearing obviously a very good bulletproof vest. He was shot from very close distance with a very powerful gun. And the vest did the job. I just spoke to the officer, and he's doing great. He's in great shape. He is has very high spirits, and we told him we love him and respect him, and he's a very proud guy. He's very proud of what he does, Secret Service agent. And we looked at all of the conditions that took place tonight, and I will say, you know, it's not a particularly secure building, and I didn't want to say this, but this is why we have to have all of the attributes of what we're planning at the White House. It's actually a larger room, and it's much more secure. It's drone-proof, it's bulletproof glass. We need the ballroom. That's why Secret Service, that's why the military are demanding it. They've wanted the ballroom for 100.
The military, which has nothing to do with Trump security in any way, shape, or form, is demanding it. Demanding the ballroom.
50 years for lots of different reasons, but today's a little bit different because today we need levels of security that probably nobody's ever seen before. But everyone owes a tremendous debt of gratitude to the courage of law enforcement, the law enforcement, and working with the D.C. police. And we just spoke with the mayor. And when we're finished, the police chief is going to take over and discuss it also from their viewpoint. But they also performed exactly as they were supposed to. And you see the attacker in different positions, but you also see the attacker totally subdued and under control. So as you know, this is not the first time in the past couple of years that our republic has been attacked by a would-be assassin who sought to kill. In Butler, Pennsylvania, less than 2 years ago. You all know that story. And in Palm Beach, Florida, a few months after that, we came close. We really had, again, we had some great work done by law enforcement. But in light of this evening's events, I asked that all Americans recommit with their hearts and resolving our difference peacefully. We have to resolve our differences. I will say, you had Republicans, Democrats, Independents, Conservatives, liberals and progressives. Those words are interchangeable, perhaps, but maybe they're not. But yet everybody in that room, big crowd, record-setting crowd. There was a record-setting group of people, and there was a tremendous amount of love and coming together. I watched, and I was very, very impressed by that. But First Lady and I were taken very well care of very quickly, rushed off the stage. Vice President J.D. Vance, who's here, was...
I saw Phil Godlewski was like, he made a post about Kash Patel saying, the funny part is, all these stories coming about Kash Patel being a drunk or whatever, and they needing to break down his door to wake him up. Feels like the funny part is, my buddy Kash doesn't even drink. He's going to sue the hell out of him. This is how we win. Like, Kash Patel doesn't even claim he doesn't drink. There's videos of him drinking.
Likewise, beautifully done. He was just saying how quickly everybody acted. Law
Trump made sure they invited more people than ever before.
enforcement, Secret Service in particular in this case, but law enforcement. Marco had the same thing. Pete was there. Pete didn't want any help. He didn't want anybody to help him. He doesn't want anybody to help him, but he did get some, didn't you? And I think you also said that it was very impressive. So with that, I'd like to ask Todd Blanche to come up, say a few words, and tell you it's already underway.
Kash Patel's such a bad fucking drunk that Pete Hegseth is his designated driver.
The man has been captured. They're going to his apartment. I guess he lives in California, and he's a sick person, a very sick person, and we don't want things like this to happen. I think it's very important. They come up, say a few words, and tell you it's already underway. The man has been captured. They're going to his apartment. I guess he lives in California, and he's a sick person, a very sick person, and we don't want things like this to happen. I think it's very important that I say, though, and I told the representatives of the evening, they did such a beautiful job. It was such a beautiful evening. And again, they're talking about free speech in our Constitution. That's what it's all about, not just White House correspondence. It was really based on free speech in our Constitution. But I said very importantly that we'll do it again within the next 30 days, and we'll make it bigger and better and even nicer. So I just want to thank everybody that was involved. I also want to thank the press, the media. You've been very responsible in your coverage. I will say I've been seeing what's been out, and you've been very responsible. The questions. I want to thank the First Lady that was a rather traumatic experience for her. There was a lot of action taking place up there very quickly. But again, the response time was really incredible. And we're going to reschedule. We're going to...
What response? They were all there, bro.
Do it again. We're not going to let anybody take over our society. We're not going to cancel.
You should have seen how fast they made it from the security checkpoint 2 steps to the left to engage this guy. The response time was amazing.
Things out because we can't do that. We wanted to stay tonight. I will tell you, I fought like hell to stay, but it was protocol. They said, please, sir, because they didn't know there was a lot of action going on, and they didn't know could there be probably a lone shooter, but we'll find out. We'll find out very quickly. They have it very well under control. So I want to thank everybody very much, and Todd Blanche, please.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. Tonight you saw the very worst and the very best of this country. You saw the very worst by the actions of that coward that the president just talked about. But you also saw the very best because you saw law enforcement do exactly what they're supposed to do. And you'll see the videos come out, I expect, very shortly, and you'll see law enforcement do exactly what we want them to do. And so I echo what President Trump just said, that we are extraordinarily grateful and appreciative of the men and women of law enforcement that did their jobs tonight, including one who was injured. This investigation is ongoing. I expect you will see charges filed shortly. The charges should be self-evident, given the conduct. But as you'll hear, there will be multiple charges surrounding the shooting, around the possession of firearms, and anything else that we can get on this guy. The investigation is obviously ongoing and just started. There is federal law enforcement already working on search warrants and doing their job, and I don't want to get ahead of them and don't want to get ahead of the work that they're doing even as we speak. Director Patel and I were just on the crime scene a short while ago, and everybody in this room should rest assured that the Metropolitan Police Department, the FBI, Secret Service, everybody's on the scene doing their job. I know that the police chief is going to give an update from the scene as soon as we're finished here, and I obviously will lead the details of what they have learned to him. But in the meantime, I just want to thank everybody in this room for the courage.
He sounds terrified, dude.
And I want to thank President Trump for his words, and I promise you, justice will be served. Thank you. Director Patel.
Thank you, General. Thank you, Mr. President. The President's absolutely right. You saw the best resolve of American law enforcement because you, Mr. President, inspire them 24/7, 365. You give them the resources that they need, and they know that you have their back. And that is a changing dynamic in this country, and that's why you saw brave Secret Service agents respond immediately, swiftly, subdue and take down the suspect, and safeguard the lives of thousands of individuals at that hotel. Thanks to our interagency partnership with the Department of Homeland Security.
You support them so well, they decided to protect you this time, Mr. President.
And the Metropolitan Police Department, the FBI, was rapidly deployed onto the scene, took over the evidence response unit, is examining all the ballistics that were found on scene to include the long gun and the shell casings. We are conducting witness interviews as we speak. You will hear from our team on the scene there with the mayor and the head of the FBI field division there. But please know what the Attorney General has just said reigns no truer. You saw the very best of America tonight. The very best unite us at a time of uncertainty because we have leadership here.
This whole we're united almost makes it sound like this is a political pitch.
With the president, the vice president that backs law enforcement, and the men and women that I shook their hands on the scene today could not have been prouder to show up on scene. And as the Attorney General said, make no mistake, we are conducting witness interviews. If you have any information whatsoever related to this event, 1-800-CALL-FBI, 1-800-CALL-FBI. No piece of information is too small, no piece of information is inadequate. We will evaluate it all. We will also be conducting interviews of those that were there, and if any of those individuals have information, please come forward to the law enforcement of the FBI or the Metropolitan Police Department. We will be examining this individual's background thoroughly. That process has already started, and we are going to ensure that he was either a lone wolf actor or anyone else that was responsible. We will analyze all evidence immediately to make sure that we safeguard this country. Mr. President, Mr. Vice President, thank you for your leadership, Attorney General and Homeland Secretary Merlin. Thank you for your partnership in law enforcement.
Yeah, the news came out that Kash Patel's girlfriend was hiding in a closet holding some other man's hand. And they're like, wait, this is how Kash Patel finds out his girlfriend's cheating on him?
Thank you, okay, we'll do a couple and then we go to the chief. Madam Chairman, I just want to say you did a fantastic job. What a beautiful evening, and we're going to reschedule.
That was her, the chairman of the White House Correspondents. That's the Asian lady that someone asked about earlier.
And after that, it's very tough for her to ask a killer question, right? But you have done a fantastic job. Please.
Mr. President, I appreciate it. As you mentioned, it all happened so quickly. And I wonder, especially because unfortunately you have experience with these sorts of threats, in that moment when you realized there was a threat and service agents were telling us to get down, can you describe what was going through your mind, how you were feeling in that moment?
That's a very good question, actually. It's always shocking when something like this happens.
Dude, they've got him on so much Adderall for this event. Like, he won't be able to sleep until they reschedule it.
A little bit, and that never changes. The fact, we were sitting right next to each other, First Lady on my right, and I heard a noise and sort of thought it was a tray. I thought it was a tray going down. I've heard that many times, and it was a pretty loud noise. And it was from...
You thought boom, 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 boom was a tray falling.
Away. He hadn't reached the area at all. They really got him. But so it was quite far away, but it was a gun. And some people really understood that pretty quickly. Other people didn't. I was watching to see what was happening. Probably should have gone down even faster. Melania was very cognizant, I think, of what happened. I think she knew immediately what happened. She was saying, it's a bad noise. And we were whisked away.
That's a Twinkle Lincoln noise. The Twinkle Lincoln noise.
Along with other people, but we were really whisked away. And again, the performance of the Secret Service and the police, all of the law enforcement, I thought was really good. So it was very quick. There wasn't a lot of time to be thinking because it was a matter of seconds before we were out the door and gone into an area. We very much, and you wanted to too, we very much wanted to continue it because I don't like to let these sick people, these thugs, these horrible, horrible people change the fabric of our life, change the course of what we do. So we held out. You were there. We held out right till the end, but they didn't want to take a chance, and I understand there was protocol.
So listen how wild this is. You guys have seen where Trump is arguing in favor of FISA warrants now, right? FISA court is a court technically in the way that it has like a judge, but there is nobody there to fight for you, right? If you are taken to a FISA court, usually there's like someone, I forget what it's called, amica. Is that what it's called? It's like called like it means like friend of liberty or friend of justice or whatever. Even if you can't be represented because it's super secret and you can't know about it, right? Because you're like a terrorist or whatever, there should still be somebody there that's friendly to justice, that's looking out for the Constitution, that's looking out for your rights. Okay, there's not even one of those there, right? It's just the people trying to get the FISA warrant and a judge. That's about it, okay? Trump was all against FISA warrants because of how they went against this and the Constitution. They looked at him and when he was in the middle of all the Russia shit, they were cataloging and keeping that, right? So Trump now, his new stance is that he literally made a Truth Social post that said he's willing to give up some of his liberty and freedom. Hold on just a second. I'll grab the post. It's for protection, basically. He says that, I know somebody's got the post. That he's willing to give that up. I want the exact quote. You have to give me a minute. Here it is. If I can get a higher quality version of it. Sorry, I'm trying to get a readable version of it. That one's just too blurry. Because I've got some new, very important information that Thomas Massey put out that I want to talk about. But I want to read this first. Okay, I think this is probably it. Here we go. I'm working very hard with the great speaker, Mike Johnson. Now, remember, he was against it. It shouldn't exist. It should go away. He ran on this because his administration was monitored through FISA warrants when he was fucking around with Russia. Now, this is a new stance. I'm working very hard with the great speaker, Mike Johnson, along with Chairman Jim Jordan and Chairman Rick Crawford to get a clean extension of FISA 702 through the House of Representatives this week. Now, FISA is going to expire. I am asking Republicans to unify and vote together on the test vote to bring a clean bill to the floor. We need to stick together when this bill comes before the House Rules Committee today to keep it clean. When the dirty cop, James Comey, the failed head of the FBI, went after me, he was using FISA Title I, the domestic collection, not FISA 702, the foreign collection, which needs to be extended today. While parts of FISA were illegally and unfortunately used against me in the Democrats' disgraceful witch hunt and attack in the Russia hoax, and perhaps would be used against me in the future, I am willing to risk the giving up of my rights and privileges as a citizen, which means not just his, everybody's rights and privileges, okay? We're willing to give up my rights and privileges as a citizen for our great military and country. Our military patriots desperately need FISA, and it is one of the reasons we have such tremendous success on the battlefield. No one's worried about FISA fucking overseas, right? No one's fucking, they don't have the rights that we do. Why would we have to give up our rights and privileges to monitor overseas people? Who say FISA is necessary to protect our troops overseas as well as people here at home from the threat of foreign terror attacks has already prevented many such attacks and is important. Now, Thomas Massey talks about it, and he says he went to a SCIF to see documents that obviously we can't see. They're top secret. You have to have SCIF clearance, okay? And in there is a letter from Ron Widener as well as documentation from the FBI that says that they have a brand new top secret interpretation that's come out since Trump became president. Brand new top secret interpretation of the FISA law and how it can be used against U.S. citizens and how they do not have to report abuses of the FISA law in the same way. So, like, when you'll see numbers like the Biden administration had like 1,000 abuses of the FISA system. Self-reported. That's a good thing. Self-reported is a good thing. That the FBI is saying, hey, we tried using the FISA. We went back and reviewed it, and this shouldn't be allowed. We did this wrong. We need to report that this is an abuse of someone's rights, document it, and in the future, we need to not do this. Well, the Trump administration has a brand new interpretation of the law. So not only can they use the FISA more extensively on U.S. citizens, but when they abuse the FISA court, they don't have to report it under their brand new legal interpretation. That's why he wants FISA back. And that's why you see things like, and this is all top secret. It's already in use. So that's why you see they'll like to share, like, under Biden, there was 3,000 abuses of the FISA court system. Under Trump, there's only been 5. They're not reporting them. Their new legal interpretation says they don't have to report it, and they can use it more extensively on U.S. citizens. It's fucked up, dude. Secret laws. When you've got these secret fucking laws that are about monitoring U.S. citizens, we've already lost the plot.
And the police, all of the law enforcement, I thought it was really good. So it was very quick. There wasn't a lot of time to be thinking because it was a matter of seconds.
We gave up too much after 9/11 in fear, and it's not being used. It's not fixing the things that it should be fixing. Instead, it just allows them to fucking track you and monitor you and take your rights away slowly.
Seconds before we were out the door and gone into an area. We very much, and you wanted to too, we very much wanted to continue it because I don't like to let these sick people, these thugs, these horrible, horrible people change the fabric of our life, change the course of what we do. So we held out. You were there. We held out right till the end, but they didn't want to take a chance, and I understand there was protocol. But we're going to be doing one hopefully within the next 30 days or sooner, and I am ready, willing, and able, and I was all set to really rip it. And I said to my people, this would be the most inappropriate speech ever made if I said, so I'll have to save it. I don't know if I could ever be as rough as I was going to be tonight. I think I'm going to be probably very nice. I'll be very boring the next time, but we're going to have a great event. And you did a fantastic job. Thank you very much. Peter, go ahead.
Thank you, President Trump. There's a report in the New York Post that
Peter Douchey.
this assailant assembled his weapon somewhere on site at the hotel. What do you think about that? And I ask respectfully, why do you think this keeps happening to you?
Well, you know, I've studied assassinations, and I must
No one knows more about assassinations than I do.
most impactful people, the people that do the most. You take a look at the people, Abraham Lincoln. I mean, you go through the people that have gone through this, where they got them. But the people that do the most, the people that make the biggest impact, they're the ones that they go after. They don't go after the ones that don't do much because they like it that way. And when you look at the people that have either, whether it was an attempt or a successful attempt, they're very impactful people. Just take a look at the names there, the big names. And I hate to say I'm honored by that, but I've done a lot. We've done a lot. We've taken this country, and we were a laughingstock for years, and now we're the hottest country anywhere in the world. We've changed this country.
Everybody tells me that. Everybody tells me your country is the hottest country. Your country is so hot, people are starting to think it could be borderline anorexic.
There are a lot of people that are not happy about that. So I think that's the answer, Peter.
And after Butler, your team for a while rethought outdoor events.
Yeah.
Do you think that you now need to rethink
No,
indoor?
well, but then you just don't do events. No, I can't do that. I have to. It is what it is. We have to do it. The room was very, very secure. You know, he charged from 50 yards away, so he was very far away from the room.
And what do you think when you saw the video of how fast he was running?
He was moving. He was really moving, and the reaction time was great. Boy, those guys, they had their guns drawn, literally.
I guess since he's talking about the video, we can play it. Hold on.
Yeah, that's the handler said, boy, he just went by. It looked like he checked it twice. Hey.
Lieutenant Hudson, you monitoring this area?
Here he comes out.
He ran right past those guys. So he comes from left to right, runs right past this guy. Naruto run.
You monitoring this area?
Naruto? Getting it, baby.
Shall I post it as soon as he passed down that?
18, go for
That's at normal speed. And then Trump posted a bunch of images of him face down on the carpet for some reason. What is this stupid shit? Artist creates a Charlie Kirk mosaic made out of 25,000 crosses and Bibles. Trump's very into this fucking whatever this kink is.
By the time he was there, they were shooting. That's right. I thought they were very impressive. And if I didn't, I'd let you know. You know, I'm not going to be. I would not stand for that. No, I thought they were very impressive.
Thank you, President Trump. Thank you for updating us on the suspect earlier. Were you aware of any threats? Were your team aware of any threats beforehand? And do you believe you were the target of this tonight?
I guess. I mean, these people they're crazy. They're crazy, and you know, you never know. He was very far away from me. He had to go through a lot. You know, we had resources all over. We had resources sitting at tables, literally in disguise, sitting maybe at your table. Who knows? But we had people all over the room. So he had a long way to go. That was really first line of defense, and they got him. And they really, you know, they acted incredibly. No, we've had no. There was no notification. We had no idea. Go ahead.
Do you know any political motivations from this?
Well, you never know. No, we'll be able to tell you that maybe by tomorrow or the next day. You know, he's in custody, and they're asking him a lot of questions. I guess they're going over Todd, and they're already at his apartment. He lives in California, and they're over there, so they'll be able to tell you. Thank you, Caitlin.
Did the suspect say anything, or was he wearing anything that would allege some type of motive here?
Nothing, no. I mean, he was a guy who looked pretty evil when he was down. You know, they had him down. He was fighting hard. He was, in my opinion, a sick person. Who would do that but a sick person? But I think you're going to find everything about him. No reason to talk about it now. But tomorrow at this time, long before this time, you're going to know a lot of things about him. They seem to think he was.
Wait, this is Carolina Caroline Levitt before the dinner.
J. Trump.
Ready to rumble, is he not?
He is ready to rumble. I will tell you, this speech tonight will be classic Donald J. Trump. It'll be funny. It'll be entertaining. There will be some shots fired tonight in the room. So everyone should tune in. It's going to be really great. I'm looking forward to hearing it.
I love it all. And you wrote most of it, you said.
I can't take credit. In true Donald Trump fashion, the man puts his pen to the paper himself. So it's a lot of his own work.
To rumble, is he not?
Watching a movie, guys.
Lone wolf, and I feel that too.
Are you concerned about U.S. Secret Service protection ability? We saw several of the detailees take minutes to be escorted out.
No, they acted very quickly, and I was very impressed by Secret Service. I mean, I'm the one, and Mark, when you would agree with that, I think, I'm the one that would complain. You don't have to complain for me. I would be complaining. I'd be up here right now saying they didn't do their job. Oh, believe me, because, you know, it's my life, and I want to live because I want to make this country great. That's why I want to live. But when you're impactful, they go after you. When you're not impactful, they leave you alone. Okay, a couple of more. Go ahead, please.
Is there any indication that this shooting could have been linked to the war in Iran?
I don't think so, but you never know. We're going to know a lot. We have the best people in the world working on it, and we're going to know a lot. Please.
Mr. President, there's a lot. You, as well as some of us who have covered Butler, experienced another horrific day 2 years ago.
Yeah.
What felt similar? You know, you had the First Lady with you today. What felt different? And you have another 2+ years in office. Are you concerned about something like this happening?
Well, I can't be concerned. I can only get great people. They did the job, in my opinion, a much better job than Butler. Butler had one weak spot that we all know about. Somebody should have been up there. But even Butler, we had our sniper on our side within 4.2 seconds from a distance of about 400 yards, one shot, and he was gone. And if he didn't do it now, you know, he's David. His name was David. I say, hello, David, every time I see him. David, I like you very much, David. But think of that. Now, if he doesn't hit him, and he hit him right between the eyes from 400 yards without any notice, nobody knew. He heard a sound. He looked over, and there was actually a tree that was somewhat in his way. You know the story very well. And he aimed, he fired. And if he didn't do that, beyond me, he would have had a lot more people killed. We lost one great person and 2 people very badly hurt. They're okay now. But no, that was so. In a sense, you know, that was pretty amazing the job they did. But they did have that one weak spot, as you know. They should have had that covered. Tonight they had everything covered very quickly. And he was fast. He was running full blast, and they got him before they got any further. I was very far away. You know, he hadn't anywhere close to breach the doors of the ballroom. The ballroom was sealed, and everybody in there. That's why once those doors opened, they didn't want to do tonight. If the doors weren't opened, we could have probably done it tonight. But I think we're much better off rescheduling. Yeah, please.
Mr. President, for you and perhaps law enforcement as well, what is the level of confidence that this was a lone actor, and has the suspect made any statements to police while in custody?
Yeah, I think it's just my profession. We have great professionals up here and outside that have been working with us. My impression is he was a lone wolf, whack job. These are crazy people. And they have to be dealt with. We had that in the second attempt, as you know. He's spending life in prison because if you let him out, they'll probably, you know, if he serves 10 years or 15 years, you let him out, he'll probably try it again with somebody else. They're sick people. We have a lot of sick people. But you're going to know, I think very shortly, you're going to know, Todd, a lot about him. You're going to know a lot about him. Yeah, a couple of more. Yeah, please, go ahead.
Are you concerned about political violence? This could be politically motivated.
All violence. You know, I'm concerned about everything. Look, but I can't be so concerned that you can't function. No, I'm here. It's a dangerous profession. You know, I tell the story, race car drivers, I think it's very dangerous. So if you take 1% and then take about 10% of 1%, just to break it down very easily, they die. So much less.
Holy fuck, this guy might be a school teacher. Cole Allen, C2 education of Torrance, California. I'm just looking. I mean, none of this stuff's probably confirmed. I'm just looking at what Twitter's trying to piece together.
Less than 1%, 10% of 1%. I think bull riding is very dangerous. If you take about the same 10% of 1%, much less than 1%. But if you take presidents, it's 5.8%, and about 8% are shot at. So nobody told me this was such a dangerous profession. If Marco would have told me, maybe I wouldn't have run. Maybe I would have said, I'll take a pass. No, it's a dangerous profession, but I don't view it that way. Look, I'm here to do a job. As part of the job, it is a dangerous.
And then people on Reddit are claiming it's somebody completely fucking different. Saying it's some guy named Felix Romer. Who would be founder of a data consultancy firm, who invested millions in Iranian petrochemical stocks. Who the fuck knows?
I can't imagine that there's any profession that's more dangerous. But I love the country, and I'm very proud. I'm very proud of the job we've done. You see what's happened. We have a great country. We've got, I think, the most successful, the hottest country anywhere in the world. This happened over a period of just a year, and we're going to do great things. But with that come risks. There's no question about it. Yeah.
I mean, there's been so much political violence, not just aimed at yourself, but at other members of Congress, state house speakers, you name it. Is that just the cost of doing business? Yeah. Do politics in America anymore?
Yeah. Well,
what does that say about our country?
We're not the only country. You look at this great violence with all countries. I was talking to somebody from another country today.
Caltech. So not like this guy's probably at not like at a high school or middle school. It looks like Caltech.
And they have numerous assassinations of political figures all over the world. You look at South America, it's like some of the numbers are just horrific. It's dangerous stuff, whether it's here or someplace else. No country is immune. No country. Good question.
Will you turn that temperature at this point?
Well, probably if I decided to just not do much, if I let everybody rip us off and take advantage of us. Look, we're leading the world in trade now. We're leading the world in the military. We're the greatest military in the world. I rebuilt it in my first term, and now we use it because we have no choice. We can't let, as an example, Iran, we can't let them get a nuclear weapon. Everything will be peanuts compared to that if they ever were given a nuclear weapon, and they'd use it too. Marco and I were talking about it today. They would use it without even hesitation. We can't do that. It was a shame. I said, oh boy, look at the numbers. We just broke 50,000 in the Dow. We just broke 7,000 in the S&P. They said we couldn't do it in 7 years, 5 years, 4 years. They were saying maybe in 5 or 6 years. And we did it in 1 year. And I called everybody together. I called all of these people and others, and I said, we have to take a little journey. I seek to do this.
It's usually at the Hilton in D.C., I think.
At the great number, we just broke 50,000. It wasn't supposed to happen during my term. It wasn't reachable. We did it in 1 year, and I said, we're going to have to make a journey to Iran. They're going to have a nuclear weapon if we don't do it. We had the B-2 bombers take them out. I terminated in the first term the Obama agreement, the Iran nuclear agreement, which was a disaster. That was a road to a nuclear weapon. They would have used it. They would have used it 100.
Game developer, engineer, scientist, teacher, C2 education, Caltech. If that's the guy.
When you
might not be.
Become a target. If I wasn't doing that, I guess I'd be a lot less of a target. But I'm honored to be. Okay, one more question. Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
Thank you, President Trump. Thank you, President Trump. Do you know how the gun was brought into the hotel? And also, how does this event impact you as the leader of our country? Do you think it will change?
I like not to think about it. I lead a pretty normal life, considering it's a dangerous life. I think I handle it as well as it can be handled. I think a lot of other people, you read stories where they become basket cases. To be honest with you, I'm not a basket case. I really take it as it is. I do it for the country. I'm not doing it for any other reason. I have a first lady who's doing a terrific job. She loves the country, and she recognizes it better than anybody. She's told.
I'm gonna be honest with you. It's unconfirmed, and they'll try to ruin this guy's life, even if it wasn't him. But it does look a lot like him. Does look a lot like him. Here he is in that Teacher of the Month photo.
Told me numerous times, she said, you are in a dangerous job, but that goes along with her too. I mean, it's dangerous for her too.
Twinkle, linka, lights.
It was either a tray or a bullet. I was hoping it was a tray, but it wasn't. And again, we had some very brave people doing a great job, so we're very proud of them and happy with them. I just want to thank everybody. They will be able to give you all that information as to the names and everything else. I think we released the names already. Most of you would have it, but his name. We appreciate it. I see so many tuxedos and beautiful dresses. It was a little different evening than we thought, but we're going to do it again, and we have a great chairman who we're so proud of, and we have to make it better. We'll make it safer, I guess, right? But we're going to make it even better. Okay, thank you very much. Thank you.
About how impactful this was. Can we hear from her about
would you want to say something?
Okay.
In the back. People across the globe are watching you demonstrating.
Oh, I'm sorry. It looks like. What the fuck? God damn, that was crazy. It does look like a person can be seen rushing, blah, blah, blah. Several follow-up photos. Trump posted images online. A man he said was a suspect, seemingly shirtless, handcuffed on the floor of the hotel. The shooting suspect was identified as Cole Thomas Allen, 31, of Torrance, California. Two law enforcement officials have told the AP. So law enforcement officials are releasing this name. They've been wrong before and released the wrong name before, but they are releasing this name currently, it would appear. And that's the name of the teacher. I guess we'll get to hear why he did it.
Leadership, and thank God you and I, all of us are alive today. What is the message that you want to give to the world that this should change? What corrective measures can we take from here on?
Well, all you can do, look, I don't care how.
We're in this weird place where, like, I'm not telling anybody to do it, but I feel like someone already knows they should do it.
Many people you have, how good they are. They can be the greatest people. You have the greatest security in history. If you have a whack job who's got a brain, but it's a little bit distorted or a lot distorted, they can make trouble. I would say, Pete, right? You know, they can make trouble. Some of these people are of genius level like you, and they're nuts. So it can be trouble. So you do absolutely the best. You get the best. We have the best people. Well, look, it was proven tonight. He started running from 50 yards, and he was fast. He was like a blur on tape. He was moving. It was very impressive the way they got him, because a lot of people would be looking and saying, you know, it's like a weird feeling, and they would let him get through, but they didn't let him get through. They drew those guns so fast. They looked like Matt Dillon. They looked like somebody that knew what they were doing. What do we do? But it comes with the territory. And if you want to do a great job, I really believe that. And you take a look at what's happened to some of our greatest presidents, and it doesn't happen to people that don't do anything. And it's not going to deter me from winning the war in Iran. I don't know if that had anything to do with it. I really don't think so, based on what we know. But we're going to continue to do a great job. That's all I can do. Thank you very much. I'll see you tomorrow. Thank you. Thank you.
I don't know the Matt Dillon reference. I'm assuming it's like a cowboy or something. Same thing I said. Matt Dillon. I don't know. Wild. He'll definitely use this to his advantage. An actor, a movie star from the 80s. Yeah, I would have never guessed that.
Well, thank you very much. And I'm told this is a rather historic meeting because these countries have been bordering each other for many, many years. And
this whole press conference is pretty wild. He falls asleep a couple times. This is wild. We saw an excerpt of it, I think. But
doesn't happen much, although they like each other. I found that out today, and I've sort of heard about that. They actually like each other, Lebanon and Israel. And we had a great meeting with the very high officials of
Marshall Dillon. I don't know. Marshal Matt Dillon, played by James Arness, was famously carried a .45 caliber single-action army revolver in the show Gunsmoke. Oh, my dad liked Gunsmoke. Marshal Matt Dillon. That's got to be what he's talking about. Gunsmoke.
Lebanon and very high officials of Israel, and we think that the president of Lebanon and the prime minister of Israel over the next couple of weeks will be coming here. They've agreed to an additional 3 weeks of, I guess, no firing, ceasefire, no more firing. Let's see. We hope that happens. It's not going to happen between that, but they do have Hezbollah.
I've never watched it either, but Dad had it on playing all the time when I went over.
Think about it. And we're going to be working with Lebanon to get things straightened out in that country. I really believe it's something we can do pretty easily, just with the power of who we are, the great people, the Lebanese people. We have our ambassador here.
I know it from that song. I bet you never heard old Marshall Dillon say, Miss Kitty, have you ever thought of running away?
Who's done a fantastic job. Ambassador to
I don't know who Miss Kitty is either.
Lebanon from the United States, and we had a great conversation, and I think it's the beginning of something very important. It'd be a wonderful thing to get this worked out simultaneously with what we're doing in Iran. And I'd like to start by just asking JB, our Vice President, our great Vice President, to say a few words, and then Marco will speak, and then the representatives from the country. Mike Huckabee, you'll say a few words, Mike. You've done a great job, by the way. I appreciate it. Everybody does. And JD, please.
Yes, sir. Well, first of all, congratulations. Congratulations to you and our Secretary of State, but most importantly, congratulations to the people of Israel and Lebanon. I think it's a major historic moment. We're going to extend the ceasefire for 3 weeks. That's already.
Is this the same one as this? Because this is 30 minutes, but this is over an hour. The whole thing was over an hour long. And RFK was there, too. Was this after RFK? This is the one where we had the... Trump does different math, and the Democrats don't understand it.
Today I'm thrilled to announce that one of the most respected pharmaceutical companies anywhere in the world, frankly, I know it very well, is Regeneron, and it's agreed to offer their prescription medications at heavily discounted most favored nation prices. In other words, their numbers will come down at levels that nobody's ever seen before. The whole most favored nation thing that we've been able to do with Bobby and Maz and everybody behind me, Marty, has been incredible. It's the biggest price reduction in drugs in history. By itself, we should win the midterms, but it doesn't work that way, unfortunately. You know, it doesn't work that way. people forget too quickly, but we'll have it's the biggest cut in drug prices in the history of our country by many percentage points.
Should have been a cowboy.
17 of the world's largest pharmaceutical companies, representing 80% of the branded drug market, have now agreed to sell their drugs to the United States of America. I mean, that should be front page news, but it won't be. It'll be back on page 19, but the people get it. That's why we're in the Oval Office, I guess. I want to thank Regeneron CEO, a friend of mine for a long time, good guy, great guy, CEO Len Schleifer, and Chief Scientific
Can barely say his name. Good friend of mine. Love him to death.
Officer George Yankopoulos, who are two fantastic people in the medical world, very respected. We're also joined by Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. Bobby, thank you. Secretary Howard Lutnick, Administrator of the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services, Dr. Mehmet Oz, who's doing a fantastic job. They all are. He's a Counselor of Health and Human Services, Chris Plump. Thanks, Chris. Great job you're doing, Chris, wherever you may be. For decades, Americans have been forced to pay the highest prices in the world for prescription drugs by far. Prices that were many, many times what the rest of the world was paying, because we had a president that didn't know what they were doing, or they weren't able to get other countries to agree to it. I was able to do that because I used tariffs. They said, if you don't agree to it, we're going to put tariffs on your country. And they said that we would be honored to do it, sir, after telling everybody no, including me. But they agreed to do it. The United States is just 4% of the world's population, and consumers only 13% of all prescription drugs. Yet pharmaceutical companies have been making 75% of their profits from American customers. So think of that.
Does she have a neck tattoo, or is that like some undershirt that's like a turtleneck?
With 4%.
You guys see that? Hold on. I don't see a seam. Maybe that is a neck tattoo. I thought it was like a shirt design with like a high neck, but I guess that's a tattoo there too, huh?
The population and doing only 13% of all prescription drugs. The companies make 75% made. I don't know, maybe, hopefully they continue, because actually it's not as bad for them as it sounds. In fact, many of their stocks are up, because actually when the price goes up on the one end, they make up for the price coming down in the United States. So it really worked out pretty good. To address this chronic unfairness, I signed an executive order instructing my administration to do everything in our power to slash prescription drug prices for Americans while getting other countries to pay more, in many cases much more. But their other prices.
Who the fuck brings a baby to this?
Doubled, and sometimes they tripled, and ours would go down.
Like, you know where my 3-month-old would love to go? The goddamn Oval Office, just to hang out.
By 60, 70, 80%, even more. Today we're building on our unprecedented success with Regeneron, committing to offer all new drugs moving forward at most favored nations prices. They'll make their current drugs available to Medicaid and MFN. That's most favored nation. Additionally, they'll also offer their current drug, Praluent, which is the lower cholesterol and heart disease, to all consumers at dramatically lower cost. It'll come down from $537 to $225 and be available at TrumpRx.gov. I didn't put the name, Bobby did, and Oz did. It's true.
Yes, you did. Okay. Trump RX is just good RX. Basically, you use their codes. If you don't have insurance, you use their little discount codes that they offer. It's like they even use the same fucking stock numbers as good RX. Just rebranded.
Came in, I said, what's this? They said, it'll be better. It'll sell better. Would you help us? So I now have my name on medication. But it's doing great. I hear it's setting records, actually. I was watching the other day. Mark Cuban, of all people, said it's amazing what Trump has done with this. I can't believe when I heard him say that. I was sort of in a state of shock. But others have said it too. This whole thing it's turned out to be hot. So that's TrumpRx.gov. The company will also invest $27 billion to build up research and development and pharmaceutical manufacturing here in America, which is a big thank you very much. Today, is deafness. People are totally deaf, and it's amazing. I've seen some work on it. It's actually hard to believe. We're going to talk about it in a minute. Normally, cures for rare diseases can cost millions of dollars, and really the results aren't that good. But in this case, I'm pleased to say that Regeneron will be giving this away for free for a period of time for free. And here with us is 2-year-old Travis Smith. He was born deaf. Was he totally deaf? No, pretty much. Right. This is 100%. He was 100% deaf, but he took this miracle cure, and now he can hear his mom, Sierra, say, I love you. And Sierra, could you maybe say a few words? That's really incredible.
It's absolutely incredible. Regeneron works miracles. Yeah, he didn't know his name. He couldn't hear me tell him how much I loved him. And now with Regeneron and this amazing surgery, he can listen.
Mark Cuban's quote was, everyone wants me to rip on Trump RX. Reality is, it's saving some patients money on IVF and a few other drugs. A lot of money on those drugs. In my opinion, anything that saves patients money is a win.
To me music, and he loves it. And he loves to dance, and he loves instruments, and I'm so proud of him. He's been so brave through all of this, and yeah, now he can hear, and he has a bright future ahead of him, and I'm
So can we. Why is he making so much fucking noise?
so thankful to everybody on the Regeneron team.
Oh, that's incredible. I mean, even the fake news has to be impressed with him. He'll find a way to make it a bad story. He doesn't hear perfectly, but he actually does. It's about 1% off. They'll figure a way. How are you going to do it? You got to explain. No, they're genius. They are genius. I respect them a lot. But I just want to thank you, Sarah. That's incredible. Really, family.
Thank you for having us.
He's a beautiful person, too. That's a beautiful boy.
Thank you. Thank you.
His life is a happier life?
Oh, yeah, he is so full of energy and love now, and he was such a serious baby.
Such a difference.
Yeah, he was such a serious baby.
And before that, it's very tough for...
Oh, for sure. He can't tell me what he wants or what he wants to eat or what he needs, and now he'll be able to do that.
Wow.
It's life-changing.
That's a great job they've done. I want to thank Regeneron and other companies for doing their part to bring down the cost of health care for all Americans under our most favored nations agreement. We've secured gigantic discounts with price differences from 4 to 5 and even 600%. 600%. One of the most popular weight loss drugs has gone from $1,350 a month to as low as $199 a month. So that's a price that's incredible. So it used to sell in London for $87. And they raised it to $199, which is a big raise. If you from 87.
We're supposed to believe the guy that's literally plastered his name on everything he's ever touched his entire life. When it came to his prescription drug deal, he was like, nah, I don't know. And someone had to talk him into it.
$199, but that's been going on. Our country's been being ripped off for 30 years. How long would you say, Doug? Like 30, 40 years. For years with drugs and drug prices. So they're going up. We're going way down. And because the world is a bigger place than we are, believe it or not, it's hard to believe that, but they are, that we go down much more than they go up. So they don't go up as much as people would have thought. So they're going from, they're going to $199, and we're going down all the way down. Think of that. We're going down from $1,350 a month to $199. That's, nobody would believe it. And this is true with all. I mean, this is the weight loss drug. But this is true with all drugs. Sometimes even more of a difference than that. Sometimes a little bit less, but sometimes substantially more than even that difference. And you see what that is. So we cut the per cycle cost of IVF drugs by thousands of dollars, and we reduced the price of the major COPD medication.
Because Trump is implementing programs against them. So if they come forward and sign a deal with Trump voluntarily and say, okay, I'll lower this one and I'll make an investment over here, then they won't be on his shit list for when he starts doing the fucking mandatory pricing models. They're exempts. Mandatory pricing models and stuff that they want to roll out, and the tariffs.
From $458 to $50. What? That must be a typo.
They basically sent out letters in late 2025 that was threatening in the companies that they were going to deploy every tool in their arsenal to lower drug prices, blah, 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 or negotiate voluntarily, come forward and submit us a deal, we'll sign it, and you're exempt from all this.
From $458 to $50. If your boy was here, he'd go, wow. He got bored. He wants to go into bigger and better things, but there's nothing bigger and better than this. They'll all be available right now at trumprx.gov, so it's, that's why it's doing well. It's not doing well for other reasons. It's doing well. Think of that. That's some discount. But we have others, and these are all top companies and top medications, and I think in the end we're going to have every company involved. We're almost there right now, but we're going to have every company involved. So Trump RX has already received more than 15 million visitors, and every American should log on to check for massive discounts before they go to the pharmacy. It's setting a record. Nobody's ever seen anything like this. I've actually had many companies, I shouldn't tell you this, Bobby, but there have been many companies that said, would like to buy it from you if you could. What? TrumpRx.com. I said, it's not for sale. It's not me. It's the government. The government owns it. I don't own it. But they're all impressed. These pharmaceutical companies, they said they've never seen anything like this. So it's fantastic. Now, I'd like to ask Secretary Kennedy to say a few words, and then we'll have Dr. Oz, the team at Regeneron, and Sierra. And Sierra, I'm so happy for you. And Chris Plump has been unbelievable, a real star. You don't know his name as much as some of the others, but he's a real star of the group. So, Bobby, please. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. President. I was reminded when the President was speaking of a conversation that I had yesterday with one of the Democratic senators who was questioning me during a hearing, and she was ridiculing President Trump for his math, and she was saying, it's mathematically impossible to have a drug drop by 600% cost.
So this is the clip that we saw, right? It's mathematically impossible to have a drug drop by 600% cost. That's true. It is impossible.
And I said, well, if the drug was $100 and it raised the price to $600, that would be a 600% rise. Well, if it drops from 600 to 100, that's a 600% savings. And the President used that mathematical device to illustrate the magnitude of the theft that has been happening against our country and our people. As he said, we have 4.2% of the world's population. We take 13% of the pharmaceutical drug. We spend 80% of the biotechnology research in our country, and we provide 75% of the profits to the pharmaceutical industry. This is a ripoff that has irked him for 20 years. During his first term, he held the line on drug prices for the first time in history. He came back on this term and he said, we're going to lower them this time, no matter what. There's people in this room who are part of the White House staff who said we can't do that. Oz and I said we probably can't do that, but he harassed us. We were beleaguered. It was like Fort Apache. Dr. Oz would not answer his phone because we were calling all night long with the president on the line saying, get this done. And we brought in this amazing superstar, Chris Klum, and he negotiated these agreements that people said were impossible. I want to thank him for his leadership, Chris, and I want to thank George and Lynn, who are the co-founders of this company, Regeneron. Their generosity, their idealism, their love of this country, and their compassion for these.
That's just not how math works. Well, he has a different way of doing it to highlight. So that's not math then.
Children are injured. Thank you.
Thank you, Robbie. Amazing. It is amazing. And you're right. I took a lot of heat to say 500, 600. But we also say sometimes 50%, 60%, different kind of calculation. 70, 80, and 90%. And people understand that better. But there are two ways of calculating it. But either way, it doesn't make any difference. Whether it's 60, 70, or 80%, nobody's ever heard of it. But it's also 500, 600, 700, depending on the way you want to look at it. So the way you word the calculation, it's either way. But Bobby, you're doing a fantastic job. We wanted somebody out of the box, and we got him, right? I would say we got him. And Bobby, he's a great guy, actually. So, Oz, how about saying a few words, please?
So this has been an unprecedented process. The president insisted we deal with one critical number you should all remember, which is that 1 in 3 Americans, when they go to the drugstore, after they see a doctor, will often leave empty-handed because they cannot afford the medications they're picking up. So if affordability was the main word the president would use in many of those phone calls, he wanted it to be done fairly. We created a partnership with the pharmaceutical industry that was remarkable and that it pushed 17 massive companies into the fold to try to do deals, again, unprecedented, that would allow us to claim that they were giving the most favored nation price.
I mean, Biden did the same thing, right? Like, he negotiated through the Medicaid, Medicare program, and we were talking about how his drug price, we just didn't make this big a deal out of it.
To this country, to the American people, the president would not take no for an answer. We got 16 companies in, but not the 17th. How many times do you think we spoke about the 17th company?
Too much.
17. He said 17. He wanted to be 17. Whatever math you want to make, 16 is not 17. There's a reason that the 17th company was delayed. That's why they're here today. It's that beautiful young boy you saw earlier. When you can save a child's hearing, and Mr. President, we talked about a lot of numbers. Secretary Kennedy quoted 100%, 600%. It's hard to beat free. Free is the best price, and that's the starting price with the president oftentimes, and that's what this wonderful company's agreed to. I want to applaud TrumpRx.gov, a remarkable site created by Joe Gebbia. And Corstein has done a wonderful job with zero glitches, serving more than 10 million individual unique Americans so far. And Mr. President, it's the fastest website I've ever seen. People love it because it works well. There's all kinds of additional elements being added to it, which we'll be talking about. But this website, as the president said, must be checked if you're going to buy a medication to make sure your price is the right price. It's a transparency site.
If you don't have insurance.
That is more rigorous than anything that I have seen. And Mr. President, your name is attached to it. And of course, that brings a tremendous
How much easier would it just be give everybody fucking insurance?
amount of attention to it. We wanted it to be perfect, and the team that did that has accomplished that exactly. I want to applaud Chris, because we cannot thank him enough, but it was also John Brooks.
People aren't making decisions whether to eat or buy their fucking prescription.
Hernandez, I see Beth back there, Theo, Ruchel.
There was somebody in our Discord today, I won't mention any names, talking about how they only get this much money. They had to drop their homeowner's insurance. They can't afford the stuff they're prescribed.
Tremendous amount of work. And when I keep hearing from the pharmaceutical industry, maybe my colleagues can address in your comments, they never expected to have a counterparty as qualified in the federal government. If you're thinking of serving your nation, this is the right time to do it. This is the right administration to serve it because the president makes it easy to do the right thing. Gentlemen.
Okay, thank you. Mr. President, Secretary Kennedy, Secretary Lutnick, Commissioner Macri, Administrator Oz, and I guess Superstar Klum. Thanks for having us here on behalf of ONLY Regeneron. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Dr. Len Schleifer, President and CEO of Regeneron, and with me is Dr. George Yancopoulos, President and Chief Scientific Officer of Regeneron. And together, well, I should pause there, I just realized something. I'm a president, he's a president, and all three of us grew up in Queens, New York. Right. So there's something maybe that was going on back then.
There you go.
That was
Why didn't you guys grow up to be queens?
I'm not sure about that. So anyway, together we founded, George and I founded Regeneron, and have built it over the past 4 decades. Today we are here. We were not pushed to be here. We are happy to be here because it marks an important step to lower drug prices. We've been arguing for more than a decade that other wealthy nations have been getting a free ride on American innovation. Just like in defense, but they've been getting in health defense a free ride. And now President Trump is putting policies in place to force these nations to pay their fair share, which will in turn lower prices for Americans. It's a good deal. But we have to remember this is just the beginning. The most important battle we all face is disease itself. We have to recognize how hard this fight is. For most major diseases that you or your loved one might suffer from, like Alzheimer's disease, to cancers, to genetic diseases, Much harder than getting to the moon, not that we don't like that, but much harder than even getting to Mars or making the next generation of cell phones or electric cars. Hard like staring into the unknown for years. So the difficulty of the challenge, but
he falls asleep several times during this.
Important medicine. Or even earned our first profit. Maybe we should have been, or might have been fired, but we stuck with it. Our relentless commitment to disruptive innovation ultimately turned one important proof. Mr. President, when you were ill with COVID, it was Regeneron's monoclonal cocktail.
I think that the administration currently thinks, maybe I'm completely wrong, that Trump helps them going into midterms because he's more likable than J.D. Vance. I also think they'll try to move him out after midterms. The fact that they can't let him in the room when we're doing a military operation in Iran says a whole lot, right?
Dubbed the Regeneron, we love it. And that helped save your life. That was invented by George right here and his team. George?
Well, in addition to the president we had a few minutes ago, Sierra's beautiful boy, Travis.
There was a pedophile fight on Facebook today. Mariah's got all the screenshots. We'll probably cover it tomorrow. It'll take a while to cover.
For all Americans, and thus...
You guys remember when I randomly was just talking about pedophiles, and I said Huckleberry is such a weird name for a pedophile? Like, there's this guy, we used to call him Huckleberry Baby Fucking Honeycutt. Well, that guy's been brought to some people's attention.
Saved many lives. We have made the decision, the unprecedented corporate commitment to provide this first-of-its-kind gene therapy for hearing loss free to all the children in the United States who can benefit from it. And we do this, why? To hopefully highlight the power of disruptive biotech innovation and all the good that it can bring to all of our lives and our health. But we have to remember, despite the miraculous advances like Retarmin and like the regenerate COVID treatment, we also have to highlight how far we have yet to go to address the many diseases that lack effective treatments. And the cure can become even regulatory hurdles so as to try to displace America's leading position. President Trump's efforts to make drugs more affordable, as well, these are important states where we as it could be innovation.
Science and lawyers, but I'm going to talk about the nation on Earth. And in it, you will find a description of a system built on incentive and reward. A system that says, take the risk, do the work, and you will share in what you create. That is why they enshrine patent protection directly in the Constitution, not as an afterthought, but as a founding principle. As Abraham Lincoln said, another great president, patents add the fuel of interest to the fire of genius. We must keep...
Yes, so the Biden administration, through the Inflation Reduction Act, allowed Medicare to negotiate drug prices for the first time. It capped insulin costs, limited out-of-pocket expenses for uninsured.
That fire burning. What we did here today, we'll do that. Little Travis can now hear for the first time, and his potential is endless. Let's make sure he grows up in a country that never stops reaching for the next miracle. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Lynn. Great to be with you again. Chris, could you say a few words, please?
Thanks, Mr. President. It's not lost on me that this year is America 250, and it's powerful, I think, to pause and remember that 250 years ago, a revolutionary free republic was born, and with it, the greatest innovation engine in the history of humanity. And we stand here today, 250 years later, getting to which and will enable families who are struggling and suffering with this affliction to have access to that groundbreaking therapy for free. Now, as the president mentioned, we've negotiated the 17th of 17.
That is cool. They're making kids here again, right?
This represents 86% of the branded pharmaceutical drug market in the United States. But anyone who knows us knows that we're not done. That's a milestone. It's not the finish line. And so we have three core objectives that are next up. Number one, and this is already underway, we are negotiating with the many hundreds of biotechnology and pharmaceutical companies representing that other 14% that are building the cures for tomorrow. To all those who are listening, I hope that we have proven that we are credible and reliable and trustworthy partners. We want to sit with you. We will listen to you. We will take the time to understand your business. We continue our work on negotiating together with our colleagues from the Department of Commerce under Secretary Letnick's leadership and from the U.S. Trade Representative's office under the leadership of Ambassador Greer. We negotiated a landmark agreement with the government of the United Kingdom for American families. And this innovation that is unleashed at the same time persists for decades to come. So that the 1 in 3 or 4 families that Dr. Oz mentioned, standing at a pharmacy counter right now, wrestling with the decision that no family should have to make of whether or not they can pick up their prescription because they can't afford it, will no longer be the case. And at the same time, we know that there are roughly 20,000 known diseases in the world, and we have a treatment or a cure for fewer than a quarter of those. And so this president and his policies is not only safeguarding affordability for American families, but is ensuring that we continue to bet on American exceptionalism. We bet on innovation. We bet on the principles that have taken us to this place in 250 years for the next 250 years.
What's up, guys? This is not an easy video to shoot.
You want to talk about rescheduling while we're here and just say what you're doing and the progress that you've made?
Right. Well, Mr. President, today is another promise made, promise kept day. On December 18th, you signed an executive order on increasing medical marijuana and cannabidiol research, and today we delivered on that promise. The Acting Attorney General this morning signed an order that moves into Schedule 3 medical marijuana products that are FDA approved or that are state licensed. This is a giant move forward to implement your promise, and it's actually a campaign promise that you made. You said we're going to move into Schedule 3 to increase the research on these medical products, And just wanted everyone to know that, one, you make promises, you keep them, and two, what does Schedule 3 mean for state-licensed medical marijuana products? We will begin implementation right away of this order. It does not legalize marijuana. It makes it easy for the researchers to actually study and understand medical marijuana, especially in populations that are using it. We know that 1 in 10 seniors right now use medical marijuana in the past year, and they report that it really helps them, but we don't have
1 in 10 seniors using pot.
So those state-licensed medical marijuana products are now in Schedule 3, and we expect the research
Sweet potatoes are good.
significantly increase so that we can hearing Department of
which seems to be the best answer.
All of marijuana to move into Schedule 3.
And the military is very happy about it, and a lot of people suffering from big problems, which seems
the military's happy about moving marijuana to Schedule 3.
To be the best answer. They're very happy about it, so the rescheduling is starting, and that's a big thing.
He's got to mean the VA, maybe.
Rescheduling. We kept saying, what about the rescheduling? And so, great job. I appreciate it. I want to thank Mr. and Mrs. Howard Kessler. He's one of the most successful men in the world, actually, and he had some medical difficulties, and he came upon this by accident in a way, and he said, well, he had to go through a lot of different medications, and he said this was the one that was much better than anything else. And so he experienced it. He didn't benefit by it other than from the standpoint that he lives a much better life now. So hopefully you don't need it. But
talk about your chubby friend that gets a fat shot again.
You need it. I hear it's the best of all the alternatives. But I want to thank Howard Kessler and Michelle Kessler. They really pushed us very hard. These are two people, very straight arrows. They're not into marijuana. They're not into anything. But he found this answer. And he said, he's doing it for other people. And so Howard and Michelle probably, they're watching or they'll be hearing about it. But they worked very hard to get this done. And it's an honor. You've done fantastically. You all have, and I appreciate it. And a man who's doing an excellent job is Howard Letnick. He's in a little different sphere. It's not in the medical sphere, but he knows what it all means. And from Commerce, he's the Secretary of Commerce. Howard, would you say a few words, please?
Sure. So in partnership with Bobby Kennedy and Memonaz and the whole team, when they do Most Favored Nation, we also ask the company to reshore and build their drugs here in America, because too many of our drugs, our key drugs for our health, are being made overseas. And in a conflict, we can't rely upon them. And I'm honored to say that our partners from Regeneron have agreed to reshore their production of pharmaceutical drugs, and this is exactly from your pharmaceutical tariffs. That's the point. So that means $448 billion.
I'm kind of tired of watching this, but we'll skip through.
It's been amazing, actually. We have Eli Lilly and Pfizer and all of the companies. We got 7 of them here at one time, which was interesting to see, but they actually got along with each other pretty well. They sit right behind me, the biggest companies in the world, and they're all building.
What did you think they were going to fight?
Eli Lilly's building, I think, 5 major plants, which without tariffs they would have built none. I said, how many would you build without none? They're all making these products in other countries, a lot of other countries, actually, not just China, but a lot of other countries. And I think by the time I leave office, they'll be mostly operating. They have an incentive to do them quickly, big incentive, like the tariffs go up if they don't. And remember, if they do them here, they don't have any tariffs to pay.
The incentive is to outlive Trump.
Incredible incentive, and if they don't do them here, they have a very substantial tariff, so they get penalized. And it's bringing countries, not only drug companies, but car companies. The AI is a different thing altogether, but even there, the AI is, we're leading China in AI, we're leading everybody in AI. We're leading now in car companies. They're coming from Canada, they're coming from Mexico, Germany, Japan. They're pouring into our country because we're very smart. Should have been done long ago by other presidents. We were the car capital of the world 50 or 60 years ago, and then they just started taking them away.
Trump signed the NAFTA replacement.
We were the chip capital of the world, and now, Intel, and now they're coming back. All the chip companies are coming back. You may say a word about that, Howard, real fast, because what we're doing with chips are incredible. What we're doing is saying at the end of a year and a half, 2 years, if you don't have your chip company, you're going to pay a tremendous tariff to put chips into this country, and they are building, I think
the reason stuff starts here and we're the such and such capital of the world, then moves overseas, is because production's cheaper there. We do innovation, right? Not always, but typically we come up with something. It's made, the computer, the fucking iPhone, the whatever. It's innovated here. It's very nuanced. It's very bespoke and like handmade and whatever. Then it's incredibly expensive. We want it cheaper. We want to give it to more people. The cell phone. Manufacturing goes overseas. We are innovating on something else, and we get them here at a cheaper cost to where the general public. You guys remember like how expensive fucking TVs used to be?
Close to 50% of the chip market very soon. Right now we had nothing. We had virtually nothing. And they're coming in from Taiwan. They're coming in mostly from Taiwan because that's where chips are made, but mostly from South Korea, Taiwan, various other countries, but they're coming back to America. We're bringing them all back. It's a revolution. Nobody's ever seen what we've done. There's never been anything like what we've done. We have $18 trillion being invested. That's for 11 months. And the last administration had less than $1 trillion in 4 years. We have, in 11 months, over $18 trillion. Howard, do you want to talk just for a second about the chip market because it's explosive?
Sure. So you've got semiconductors, you've got leading edge logic, you've got high bandwidth memory, and you have foundational chips. And America had a couple of points, 3 or 4% market share, and we are, of course, the biggest demand. And the president gave the order, let's get these factories, these fabs built in America. And our expectation is we will have $1 trillion of these fabs. These are factories. This is not the hyperscalers buying chips. This is literally...
it just have you guys ever seen a semiconductor factory? Hold on. Like there's so much that goes into it. Clean rooms, nothing can be there, nothing can be present. Fucking dust filtration system down to single microns, like fucking insane.
Humble sand. This is what the building blocks of the future are. Dioxide in the sand has to be converted into pure silicon. After that, it is cut into wafer-thin discs. In Dresden, these raw wafers are 300 millimeters in diameter and less than a millimeter thick.
They're like in clean suits, like from head to toe. They have these special built fans that run at like fucking 500,000 RPMs that filter out shit. Like, it's insane.
For clean room, up to 35,000 chips are then made.
Oh, I think Intel. Here's a good video. Linus Tech Tips went there.
I've spent most of my career trying to get into a chip fab. Samsung's a hard no. Global Foundries was open to it in person, then ghosted me when I followed up. And Intel has said no to me every single time I've asked, except one. Honestly, I'm pretty overwhelmed today because I'm going to be taking 3 major items off my bucket list. I'm visiting Israel for the first time. I'm going to be going deep into the heart of Intel's state-of-the-art Fab 28, and
it's not just like opening a factory, okay?
Zoho CRM. Zoho CRM is a 360-degree blow. They couldn't be more experienced. Danny is the co-general manager of worldwide semiconductor manufacturing and started at Intel working in Fab 8 in Jerusalem, back when their state-of-the-art was the Pentium 1. Microprocessor fabrication experts can safely skip ahead a couple of minutes, but for everyone else, let's run through the basics. Every CPU die, every one of these, starts with a sliced-up silicon ingot like the one right here. These are astonishingly pure and are exactly 300 millimeters in diameter. If they went any smaller, they'd increase waste around the edges. I mean, look at this. Obviously, this is not going to be a working chip if it's cut off by the edge of the circle. Fun fact, by the way, the reason that they run the non-working edge dies through all of the same fabrication processes is that it actually improves the uniformity of the full chips next to them. Consistency is key in CPU manufacturing because even though we talk about these chips in terms like 14 or 10 nanometer, the components that make up these transistors are much smaller, like on the order of less than a nanometer. And a tiny error or contaminant in any of the hundreds of manufacturing steps means that die, no worky. I mean, it's a modern miracle that
any contamination is just done for.
Any of this is possible, and is basically unheard of to get an entire 300 millimeter wafer through the fab without a single defective die on it. Before it can be sold, however, it needs to be transformed from melted sand like this into the brains of your PC. Silicon, you see, is neither an insulator nor is it a true conductor. So to create all the little
he was amazed that he told Barron to turn off his computer and then came back 5 minutes later and the computer was turned back on. He thought Barron was like some type of computer genius, so.
Transistors or switches that control current flow through the logic gates and other microstructures on the chip, the wafer needs to undergo many processes. Implantation fires dopant ions into the surface of the silicon to alter its electrical characteristics. So depending on what kinds of ions are implanted, say phosphorus or boron, you might be laying the groundwork for an N-type or a P-type transistor. This determines if the voltage is negative or positive to open the gate. Diffusion furnaces create new combined materials by exposing the wafer to various gases at up to hundreds of degrees Celsius. Lithography is one of the easiest steps to understand conceptually, but also one of the most important. Within a single processor die, there are billions of transistors and literally kilometers of tiny wires, but they're obviously far too small to build them and solder them together by hand. So the wafer gets coated with a material called photoresist, then exposed to UV light through a mask. Anywhere the light passes through the mask, the photoresist will be removed, allowing the exposed portions to be processed. Then it's quite literally rinse and repeat. Nikon, who does a lot more than make cameras by the way, has a great diagram on their site demonstrating this. So one such potential processing step is etching, where the goal is to selectively remove material from the top of the wafer, creating trenches in it. These can be overfilled with copper to create interconnects. Then the excess gets removed by polishing it off using brushes and slurry in a process called chemical-mechanical planarization. There are different kinds of etching.
This is on a scale that you can't even see with your fucking human eyes, right? They're making, there's like kilometers of wire on this tiny little fucking chip, but obviously you can't run wire and solder it, but your hands are too fucking big. So they use chemical baths and processes to put copper plating on it, get rid of this upper copper plating, and then that leaves this connected but not this connected.
But we can talk about that more once we get inside. This is it. Point of no return. Here we go. There's no card or anything. Just yeah, it's very good, high security. Time to learn the procedure. This is great. This is very inclusive. They have child-sized gloves for people like me. This is crazy. So these are not the gloves we wear in the clean room. These are the gloves to put on the stuff that we're going to wear in the clean room that will be contaminated that then we will get rid of after. Wow. Man, I'm looking sharp. Now time for stage 2. Basically, we grab a couple of little foot cover doodads here, and this room is pressurized. And the idea is that these aren't like filtered like the clean room or anything like that. But by having a little bit of pressure in this room, we keep the super stanky air from outside out. So when you walk into here, you feel this gust of air coming out, and then what you're supposed to do is you're supposed to have dirty stuff on this side and then clean stuff on this side. So I gotta put my little booties on. Did I do it right? Okay, so there's more positive pressure in here blowing that way, right? So the idea then, I guess, is the air gets cleaner and cleaner as we go. Okay, what do I do? Yeah. Top to bottom. Okay, why do we go top to bottom? So that the dust won't fall off our top onto our bottom?
Better that it will soak into the bodysuit.
Oh, got it. Because that's how the garments overlap. I have a feeling our audio is not going to be our finest ever for this video, ladies and gentlemen. You'll have to bear with us because my microphone is already
He's just getting ready for a tour. Imagine the people that work here.
3 layers of fabric now.
It's not just a regular factory that someone's gonna, like Joe that works at fucking, the water heater plant is going to walk into.
We're out of the gown room, into the fab, and it's already crazy. Can't you see these like robots on track?
I'm not saying we shouldn't have these jobs. We should, right? They're high-tech jobs. The problem is cost and training and having people here that can do it. I think it's a terrifying aspect of China potentially taking over Taiwan, and all of our weapon systems, virtually all of our weapon systems run with computer chips. Short of like fucking 50 cals and shit, right? Sidearms, fucking long rifles. We're talking about anything about explosives or airplanes or tanks or anything like that. They've got computer chips in them.
And I checked, that is actually what it's called, FOUP, which is 25 wafers. So that's 25 slices of the original silicon ingot. That FOUP we just saw, that little robot on the track, had hundreds of CPU dies in it, but we don't know how many of them are good because they're actually on their way to sorting, where not only will they determine if they work, but they'll determine how well. So is it a Core i7 or a Core i9? Every guy wants to live. It sounds like a nerdy James Bond film. I love it. Oh my God, this place is a lot bigger than it initially looked. How many square feet is this? 4 football fields. Diffusion over there, and deposition was over there. And etching and planing. So we're going to look at all of that, but there's no particular order for these steps because once a FOUP comes in here, you guys can see they're whipping around all over the place. There are hundreds of stages. Each Alder Lake CPU die might go from lithography to planing to deposition, back and forth, hundreds of times. Every silicon wafer comes to diffusion land. And basically what these machines do, they're more like a furnace. And they will take that top
They heat them up and expose them to different gases.
layer of silicon on the wafer, and they will diffuse it with some kind of other material. I asked for some examples, but other than silicon oxide, they wouldn't really tell me anything. And in fact, they wouldn't even tell me what the first material layer would be for the processors that they're making here now. There you go. We can actually see the robot arm inside that would take the silicon wafers out of the FOUP and position them as needed for the machine. This is
the reason, so you have different computer chips, right? When you go to buy a CPU, right? You might have a 3700, a 5900, and a 7600, and blah, 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 and it goes up in price. There is sometimes some like funny business, like they're downgrading dies, but typically they sort out the dies of like this die right here wouldn't make a 7900. It's not good enough to be a 7900 CPU, so we have to make a 3700 out of it.
is the loading area down here.
When they put it into these machines, they don't know if it's going to be good enough to make this or make that, or they just know a percentage of them will be this good, a percentage of them will be a little bit less, a percentage of them will be a little bit less.
You can see through the window, and then up top is the actual furnace, which is hundreds of degrees, and then it has gases in there that help them to achieve whatever kind of chemical changes that they're going for on top of the wafer. One thing Intel's been very particular about is don't touch anything, because it's more than just, not pressing the wrong button.
They even make them blur out all this shit. All this stuff's proprietary to Intel.
But actually, even just bumping these machines, when you're trying to build something that has structures in it that are on the size order of nanometers, that means that the building blocks of that thing are sub-nanometer in some cases. So you cannot bump one of these machines while it's running. And in fact, they only build their fabs on...
I would love... This would be an amazing job to have. This would be cool as shit.
Particularly stable.
The problem is being trained, knowing how to do it, having the materials, having all this machinery, right?
Parts of the world where they don't have to worry about excess seismic activity. This is cool. As we're walking through...
So you can't have it in parts of the world where you have excess seismic activity.
Diffusion. We actually got a great opportunity to show you guys the multi-level structure of the fab. So what we're walking on is only one of 4 total layers. Above us are filters, and the air comes from there down to here. Then below us is where they're going to have pumps, chemistry delivery. You can see these punch outs in the floor here. You can actually see there's like a foam vent of some sort going up into the machine that's next to us. And then the air flows from top to bottom. So it goes down to that layer. Then it goes down to one more layer where they have water, utilities like electricity, as well as exhaust. So that air goes back up the side of the building and recirculates. In total, Intel expects anywhere from 0 to 1 particle per... what was the unit of volume? 1 meter cubed. And for context, an operating room could have tens of thousands of particles per meter cubed. So you could conceivably...
So this has to be cleaner than a room you might have surgery in.
Assuming you were qualified. I asked about this sign, and apparently it's just to make sure that people are going through this corridor. This is one of the
most secret areas, even here inside the fab, which is already a secret area, because it contains some of the most expensive materials that they need for lithography. It's also some of the most top secret. Now, under normal circumstances, every one of these stations would be occupied by someone. In fact, the entire factory runs on 4 shifts a day, 24/7, 364 days a year, only shutting down for Yom Kippur. So I didn't ask.
Yeah, the price is largely driven by the demand. Like, everybody has demand, and the plants are fucking wide open.
Because I'm afraid to know the answer, but I think it's probably costing Intel a fair amount to have us in here poking around. While they didn't sponsor the video or anything, definitely shout out to Intel for got your flathead screwdriver. But the process is what's fascinating, because taking a machine like this offline for more than a few minutes at a time, very, very costly.
That's what I'd like to do, maintenance on the machines. That'd be cool.
And then grabbing wafers to see
I don't know if this is interesting to anybody else, but
cabinets, I guess you could call it, or something. Say, for example, metal. Okay, then it comes back into the loop, back up to the rails, and off to the next step. Did I ever say?
here we get a planing.
Now, depending on the stage of wafer processing, because remember, to go back and forth hundreds of times for a single die, you don't necessarily want the straight edges of a dry etch. You might want this kind of curved shape of a wet etch. Now, the actual exact shape is apparently extremely important and extremely difficult to control, because unlike a dry etch, you can actually hear the sound of the pump. You hear that right now? So there's actually chemicals pumping inside. Another key consideration if you've got such expensive machinery is training. So one of the things that Intel wanted to show us is how they're using augmented reality practically right here in the fab for a variety of purposes. So one is due to COVID-19, obviously some personnel were not able to be here in person for an extended period of time. So remote assist allows someone who is here in person to actually have someone else scribbling on a schematic or explaining it to them while it hovers in front of them. Pretty freaking cool.
I think the Intel Israel thing is Israel basically in the early 70s, when they could see how important computers were going to be, Intel basically sold its Israel sold its soul out to Intel. We'll give you anything, any tax breaks. We'll give you land. We don't care. Bring it here. It's going to be integral in the long term. Yeah. And decided to take some of their, the way we were talking about, like people should be trained for the jobs internally. They decided to change some of their education system entirely to make Intel technicians and have this agreement with them. And a lot of their research and development goes on there in the Israeli plant.
Cool. It's also used as a training resource for maintenance for machines so that you can kind of learn by doing. And they're actually going to do a
I'm pretty sure that Israel was the first overseas, it used to be in America. Israel was the very first place it went to, and now it's left America to keep their Israeli campus. Now, I don't know what the fucking government's doing for Israel. Who could tell? And then the rest of it's like Taiwan and shit like that.
Practical demo for us. Hey, here's our test guinea pig here, and he gets to look at my mug. That's unfortunate. Oh, that's awesome. So it shows you all the tools you need. So there's a little instructional video for how to do it. Very cool. Hey, look at me. I'm a fab equipment maintenance technician. Unfortunately, the windows on these machines are quite dark, but we did manage to catch one that is being processed right now. So we've got some footage to show you guys. Essentially, after the deposition step, you're going to end up with some inherent unevenness that needs to be polished off. Now, in the past, they might have actually submerged the wafers for polishing, but now it's actually done by a brush that has a slurry on it that Intel said is very proprietary. They wouldn't even give me any hints as to what is in this polishing liquid, but they did tell me that the pressure as well as the motion of it has to be so precise that they can take off as little as a few atoms or molecules at a time. You can see the wafer moving back and forth on the spinning bottom. Crazy. One thing that's missing is I don't see where that tray that loads all the wafers in is. Where the foop is it? Get it? Because it's a foop. By the way, something I didn't mention before is that each of the different types of machines actually has a number, but it also has these animals, because Intel found that, especially in a multi-layer design like Fab 28, in order to make sure that the maintenance crew down below is actually, shutting down the correct machine for maintenance up above.
The overall throughput of
I don't know. It's interesting to me.
They're on the fab floor, moving things around and looking at screens and turning dials. Everything is done right here to ensure that they're pumping as many chips out as possible, because once you invest $30 to $40 million in a machine times however many were in there, you want them going as hard as you possibly can, as often as you possibly can. Every shift, they have to do 2 stretching sessions in order to, minimize the risk of RSI, because they're basically sitting at their computers all day, every day, right? But like the friend who only invited you to dinner because he wanted to show off his new car, Intel had a bit of an agenda for inviting us here, and that is to show off the enormous investment that they're making into Fab 38. So everything that we just saw is about to be doubled. This roundabout, See you later in about 2 weeks. That entire construction site out there is going to be state-of-the-art, new generation fabrication technology that will actually be integrated so tightly with the existing fab that you could actually take a wafer from one, utilize equipment in the other, and then send it back if you really needed to, although that's going to be quite a distance. One of the big reasons Intel is building out fab capacity so aggressively right now is a new concept called IDM 2.0, where basically, instead of only building their own products, they're going to be fabbing products for third-party companies, which I personally, given that we're sitting in the middle of the largest ever global silicon shortage, am pretty excited about. Now, unfortunately, there are a couple of steps in the die creation process that we weren't able to see today. The addition of the bumps that connect the die to the package through electroplating, that doesn't happen here, and quality control. QC starts with an end-of-the-line e-test, which checks the functionality of fake debugging structures and transistors that are specifically meant to be there to ensure that everything went correctly in manufacturing. Then it proceeds to binning, which is the process of sorting the good dies according to their capabilities. Obviously, the best of the best will become Core i9, the next best will be Core i7, and so on and so forth. Other than that, 12th Gen Core, or Alder Lake, is a pretty unique product.
Right now, we're in a huge RAM shortage, which is also handled a lot overseas, right? Because all of the fucking, like, RAM has went so expensive in price. But it doesn't benefit companies that produce RAM. Right now, they're getting insane prices because of the AI boom. But it doesn't benefit them to build other factories, right? Because the boom's going to end eventually, and prices are probably going to come back to what they were. They're talking about billions and billions and billions of dollars of investment. They're not going to recoup that investment in the next, 5 months or even 5 years. The boom might be over by them, and they're getting record high prices. Why would they? You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, we want to lower our own prices just to expand our business? That doesn't make sense for them. Unless they have some type of incentive, why would they?
For Intel, with much of the design and manufacturing done here in Israel. Once the wafer's done, Intel sends it to one of their other facilities for slicing and packaging, and a second validation step called class, where they basically burn in every single chip to ensure that no degradation took place and that the packaging was done properly. This, along with design
on average, right? It would take them a couple years to build. Yeah.
Phase testing that simulates the effects of CPU aging is where Intel's reputation.
RAM is built in the same way. It has to be a clean room. You have to wear the suit. You have to do this. Not the same processes, but it's built like this.
Manufacturing quality comes from. I mean, think about it. When you're troubleshooting a system that won't boot, the CPU.
And apparently AI just eats up fucking RAM.
Is the last thing you're going to check, because unless you dropped it, it probably works. Packaging, by the way.
Yeah, the RAM I have now, I paid $140 for, but it's like $700 now. It's fucking insane.
Going to be getting a lot more complicated over the next few years as multi-die processors like the upcoming Sapphire Rapids start rolling out. And it's expected that the relatively basic packaging facilities of yesteryear are going to be getting a lot more fab-like. I mean,
and I'm not even on the DDR5, right? I'm still DDR4.
$10,000 server CPU is a pretty expensive mistake, given that the whole thing needs to be thrown away at that stage if something goes wrong. Maybe that should be the next tour I request. Am I right? Actually, I'm not going to push my luck at the moment. This was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, and I'm extremely grateful to Danny and his team. Shout out to Karen, by the way.
All right, so that's cool. You're not just going to bring a company here. You know what I'm saying? Like, Trump will be long gone if we're going to produce chips here before chips are ever produced here. There's just no fucking way. Another interesting thing I saw, did you guys see, I don't know, did you all ever follow Storage Wars? My parents like Storage Wars. I thought it was so fucking fake, I couldn't stand to watch it, right? But my parents like Storage Wars. Well, Daryl Sheets, apparently one of the guys from Storage Wars, ended his own life the other day. And then there's apparently more to this story that we haven't heard. So here's a part of it.
What's up, guys? This is not an easy video to shoot. Unfortunately, Daryl Sheets took his own life. So he passed away. I know a lot of you guys think we hated each other because we competed a lot on the show. And, you know, we had our moments, we had our run-ins, but that's because we were both competitors, right? We were both competitors. We're the biggest threat out there. So deep down, me and Daryl were friends. We talked every now and then. He's a very hard worker that cared more than anyone I've probably ever met about their family, about his son, about Zoe, pretty much people in his life, right? So rest in peace, Daryl Sheets. Also, I know Daryl would want something positive out of this. So he had a guy like really tormenting him lately on cyberbullying. Guys, just because you watch us on television doesn't mean you know us. It doesn't mean you know what we're about. Also, it doesn't entitle you to bully somebody. That's not us, that's anybody, that's any athlete, that's anybody. You shouldn't cyberbully at all. As a matter of fact, if you have somebody in your life that thinks it's funny to cyberbully other people, may that be a celebrity athlete or a little girl at school or a schoolmate, slap him in the back of the head. Make him become a better human being.
You're claiming this man that's probably almost 70 was cyberbullied into suicide?
Because you never know.
I understand when this happens to like teens, young people, when they think their whole life is just them online, blah, 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 whatever. But I just, it's hard for me to fathom people of that age bracket being cyberbullied into killing themselves. But
what demons somebody faces and what they go through and what you might push them through. And I also highly encourage law enforcement. Daryl has been posting a lot.
Like my dad was not that old. I could not see my dad giving a fuck about what's going on online. You know what I mean? Like he played on Facebook and shit. If people were talking shit, he'd be like, "Oh, that's weird." Back to my life watching Gunsmoke.
About the guy that's been cyberbullying him and tormenting him. And I really hope they look into that guy and it's just not a pass. Because it's just not right, guys. Be better. What's up, guys?
So I don't know what the fuck he's talking about.
Unfortunately, Daryl Sheets took
his manner of death was suspected to be suicide. Police said Sheets' death remains under active investigation. Additional information will be released as it becomes available. I don't know what they would have been cyberbullying him over. I don't know. There you go. He passed away, and apparently there's more to the story that we haven't heard yet. Oh, we need to do this. There was something funny that Daryl Hinkle did today. I forgot what it was, but it was funny. Oh, God. Oh, God.
I squat you all day long, Randy Nace. Squat you all.
Oh, he measured himself. That's what he did. Guess how tall he is.
All day long, Bobby. This is squatting you all day, Bob. Like you ain't nothing. You get ready to grab hold of
that log looks like one of those videos where you have to decide if it's real or cake, and it definitely looks like it's cake.
Man, you throw the log around like you daggone tough. The log, this 16-year-old boy right here. Throw bigger logs than that all day long, can't you, Bobby?
Yeah. I was the one that did all the logs up there.
Yeah, they do that, take it tough.
Damn near fell over with it.
His back was broke.
Yeah.
Didn't even make it through basic training.
Yeah, this area.
Didn't make it through basic training. That's interesting.
Didn't even make it through basic training.
Yeah, this area.
Basic training.
He's the one done all the work.
All the wood chopping all winter long.
Yeah, tell him about it, Bobby. We dropped the phone, but that's fine. Tell him about it. Here, hold on. We dropped the phone. Tell him.
I was what did all the work all winter long while he laid in the bed in the back bedroom right there playing video games all day.
Yeah. Playing with yourself, sicko. Alright, ain't Bobby.
I'll tell you what, one day I walked in there and looked in their dresser drawer, they got a big old dildo about this long.
He
plays with it.
Probably strap on. Exactly.
Big old dildo that sticks to something.
Big long one. Dog. Yeah, there you go, Randy. Yeah, man, hot dog. Get it, Randy. There you go.
That's a 16-year-old kid, by the way.
Oh, we know what you like. I already know all about you, Bobby. Know all about you, son. All right, we burn garbage, putting dogs up, feeding hogs. That's how I work out through the day. I get out here and take care of my house, take care of my yard. I still have to weed eat this whole day. We're a banker here. I weed eat this whole bank. I weed eat all around this creek and all this. That's gonna be like, that's gonna be a lot of work. I'm dreading it. I'm trying to get myself built up to do it. Trying to get Chris to do it, but obviously he ain't gonna do it, so I'm gonna have to do it myself.
I do it.
He's always talking about doing all kinds of work, but I don't think I've ever seen a video of him working at all.
I don't understand what you people talking about. I sold my trucks. My bills over there, they're looking for a flatbed to put on him. They're supposed to have one found. And the blues over there, and I'm not trying to make the money. So that's what's going on. I ain't sold my trucks. My trucks is in a safe spot, a good spot, and I'll have all the parts by the end of this month coming. I'll have all the parts for my trucks, and then they'll be able to take them apart and put all the new parts back in, and then the whole motor will be rebuilt. I'm about to get the new radiator, and everything for it. I got all that ordered, and got it all. I have to order a little bit at a time as I go. That's all I can do. I ain't had no work. They jacked me out of work. Well, without truck.
I've never seen him work.
Whoop up on them, Chris. Andy needs whoop up on them, Chris.
On the phone, Dad.
You.
Me?
Yeah, on them women, on his woman.
Sabrina.
A bunch of times, right? All right. So there you go. Woman beat her. At least I can admit to it. I will smack the crap out of a woman. At least you ain't got the heart to admit to it. Andy needs whoop up on your.
I admit I beat women.
I got some people saying they're probably kick me out of the fight because I made the video about the wood chipper deal. I don't care. Kick me out. I don't give a rat's around. What you do? Kick me out. I mean, for real. That's the facts. I'm telling the facts about it. Facts about it. I might not be able to get a wood chipper. I'm going to try to get a wood chipper. I might not be able to get one. But believe me, this is a whole lot different from the redneck brawl you all been watching. This is like Hatfields and McCoy stuff here, brother. This is like Hatfields and McCoy stuff here, brother. A whole lot different from the redneck brawl you all talking about. I mean, for real.
I want to show. I'm not worried about watching all of them. I want to show you the one where he was measured in.
You run with, Bob. I'm telling you. You run with y'all.
It was funny watching him trying to do math.
I'm getting ready for the fight. Getting ready to go in there, and I'm gonna jar Randy Noose's head for him. I'm gonna knock everything in him out. All right, this is how you do your pull-ups. If you can't do your pull-ups, if you can't, pull yourself up. And there's a lot of people. I'm 233 pounds. It's hard to pull that much weight up. But this works just as good. That's a jailhouse routine.
It can't work just as good.
Then hang it as long as you hang on.
Can't possibly.
Hang on it for as long as you can. And when I'm doing my Tyson squats, so and getting them in today, it's raining, so that's why I'm doing my Tyson squats. I'm always ready. There ain't a time I ain't ready to rock. You know what I'm saying? I'm always born for, boy. If that fella would put his hands on me in jail, we would stomp him out. Houses that red. I don't understand what you people talking about. I sold my truck.
Damn, we just saw that video.
All right, guys, I'm getting ready for the fight. Crystal and them's gonna go out and work out. I work with them girls at the gym, but I don't have to.
I think this is it.
And now that my teeth is getting better, I need to do some weed eating stuff, and that's workout to me. And the cards and pull-ups and all that. Jailhouse routine is the best workout. Them weights and stuff is good, but you don't want your muscles so tight that.
By the way, this guy claims that he's a carpenter, a roofer, can level your house. He's a professional tradesman. And see how he struggles to figure out how many inches are in a foot.
That you can't do no good swings with them. All right, so I'm gonna measure how tall I am.
Okay.
I'm just 5'5".
How tall we think he is? Any guesses in the chat? He's mad because people say he's 5'5".
I'm gonna measure how tall I am. They're trying to say I'm just 5'5", and there ain't no way. I got a pecker 3 foot, so I have to have.
I'm 5'10". You're taller than I am.
You're taller than I am. I'm 5'10". Look at you. You're taller than I am.
You're a little bit taller.
Measure me right here.
Measure me. Now what? Everybody. So he says tape measure only has inches on it, right? Well, some of them have like some foot and inches, but usually it's inches. He says the inches out loud. Look how everybody freezes and how many people get it wrong.
Get your phone. Get my phone out of the truck.
Now, I am a tradesman, so I tell you right now, 60 is 5 foot. So it's one of the easiest ones to do is 5 foot something because 60 is 5 foot, right? So then however many inches above 60, so if it's 63, that's 5'3". If it's 67, that's 5'7". It's pretty fucking easy, okay? So I'm reading about 67 maybe, right? If I had to judge this angle, this guy's a little bit taller than him. Maybe 66 if this guy's supposedly taller than him by a couple inches is what they just said. Trying to judge this angle, but we'll let them do it.
Let's see. 68 inches.
Now watch, everybody freezes.
How is it?
5 foot.
How tall is that?
Is it?
5 foot 8.
Well, 68 inches. How tall is it?
5 foot 8.
5 foot. 5 foot 8.
Okay.
5 foot 8.
So how many inches?
So I'm 6 foot. So I'm
5'8". So I'm 6 foot. Excuse me?
5 foot 8.
Okay.
5 foot 8.
So how many inches?
So I'm 6 foot. So I'm 6
No,
foot.
you're not 50. You're not.
So now he said, then she said, how many inches is it? And he said 64.
Dad burn 6 foot.
You're not.
With my
6
boots
foot.
on.
With my boots on. I'm dad burn 6 foot with my boots on.
68 right now, yeah.
Let me ask ChatGPT real quick.
6 foot.
Hold on, let me ask.
6 foot.
68 inches is how many feet tall?
5 foot 8. 4 inches.
They're still deciding.
Being 6 foot.
Dad burn 6 foot.
5'6".
5'6".
5'8".
5'8".
5'6", almost 5'7".
Almost 5'7".
5'8".
No,
5'8".
5'8", you're right, sorry.
Oh, I'm 5'8". 6 foot.
5'8" is what you are.
I'm 5'8". 5'8", Dad burn.
Imagine this guy leveling your house. 66 inches. That's 6 foot.
How much more
5'8",
taller do you need to
230
be?
pound
If you want to be 6
monster.
foot.
White.
5. How many inches taller would you have to be? That's what Crystal said. How many inches taller would you have to be if you were 6 foot? And he says, I'm 5'8", 233 pounds, solid muscle. Them fucking Parker's got this boy slow way down, dude. Like he's in reverse.
I'm 5'8". 5'8", Dad burn.
How much more taller do you need to
230
be?
pound
If you want to be 6
monster.
foot.
White boy monster.
From 5'8".
I got.
How much more taller would you have to be if you wanted to be 6 foot from 5'8"?
Get ready for the 5. Crystal and them gonna go out and work out. I work with them girls at the
I don't even think they measured him accurately. He's probably 5'5", 5'6".
gym, but I don't have to do that. I need to do that.
I won't watch it again. It's funny.
Is getting better. I need to do some weed eating stuff, and that's workout to me. And
He literally says, I'm 5'8" right now. I'm 6 foot, right?
The cards and pull-ups and all that. Jailhouse routine is the best workout. Them weights and stuff is good, but you don't want your muscles so tight that you can't do no good swings with them. All right, so I'm gonna measure how tall I am. They're trying to say I'm just 5'5", and there ain't no way. I got a pecker 3 foot, so I have to have.
I am. I'm 5'10". You're taller than I am.
You're a little bit taller.
Measure me right here.
Let's see.
Let's see.
Get your phone. Get my phone out of the truck.
I measure right here.
Let's see. What's 68 inches? How tall is it?
5'8".
5 foot.
He's reading the back of the tape measure.
5'8".
5 foot 8.
So how many inches?
So I'm 6 foot. So I'm 6
No,
foot.
you're not 50. You're
I'm
not.
Dad burn 6 foot.
You're not.
With my
6
boots
foot.
on.
It's 68 right now, yeah.
Let me ask ChatGPT real quick.
6 foot.
Hold on, let me ask.
5'8", you're 4 inches.
68 inches is how many feet tall?
5 foot 8. 4 inches away from being 6 foot.
Dad burn 6 foot.
5'6".
5'8".
5'6", almost 5'7".
5'8".
No, 5'8", you're right. Sorry, Drew. 5'8" is what you are.
I'm 5'8". 5'8", Dad burn.
How much
5'8", 230-pound monster. White boy monster.
From 5'8".
A manaconda.
I'm looking to rent a wood chipper or borrow a wood chipper so I can take to the redneck brow with me. I'm gonna hook it up right to old Blue there. I'm gonna hook it up right to him. And then I'm gonna pull, I'm not hiding from nobody. I'm gonna pull around in the parking lot and start the wood chipper up. And then the first one jumps is gonna be the first one to get thrown in it. And that's straight up Williams. Straight up Williams. I'm coming with wood chippers and all right? So it's high testosterone. You can switch up with all the fighters you want to. Denver, you're carried. Randy, you're carried. Every daggone one of you is carried. Every one of you is carried. And I promise you, God, that you don't want to run up on me again because
I'm glad. In middle school, I went on a school trip, and I understand, like, I have a pretty strong accent, but it was worse, okay? In middle school, I went on a school trip, and I got bullied for the way I talked, and I consciously tried to make it better. Like, I could have ended up talking just like this guy. Like, I understand it's not the greatest. I have that strong accent from Alberta, Canada. I can't get rid of all of it, but I consciously made an effort to make it better.
it'll be over for you. I'm not playing no games with nobody. Nobody. All right? So I'll see you made knife, redneck brow. My teeth is finally getting where it's going down a little bit. Still got infection in them pretty bad. But the infection pills making me sicker than a dog, man. It's about killing me. And we'll be seeing you made a knife. This is high testosterone. I'm out. Oh, yeah.
All right, we're done. I think we've seen about all of them. Look, that's terrifying, dude. You imagine that coming at you in a fucking dark alley near the pill plug. He's got antibiotics. He says they're making him sick because he doesn't he doesn't eat nothing. He's taking them on an empty stomach. Ain't ate nothing all day but pills. All right, guys. That's it for me. Tomorrow we'll cover the pedophile drama that Mariah. Look at these screenshots, Mariah. She uploaded them all. So they deleted the original post, but Mariah uploaded all the screenshots. Hold on. Let me show you her post. $123 comments. But it's not people. Just watch. Look at these screenshots. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, and they're all out of order. 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50. 51, 52, 53, 54, 55, 56, 57, 58, 59, 60, 61, 62, 63, 64, 65, 66, 67, 67 screenshots, okay, of this back and forth, of this. Basically, here's the gist of the story. There's this guy that ever since I've been young, we called because we knew, and you could look it up at the time, we called this guy Huckleberry Baby fucking Honeycutt, because his last name's Honeycutt, but he went by Huck his whole life, okay? Now, he's married now. He's got kids. She's got kids. He's married. He's a mechanic around town or whatever. Recently, they had a fire in their garage. In this garage fire, they lost some stuff that they were storing in the garage. They lost their use of the garage, and somehow it didn't touch their house, but somehow it fucked up like their electric panel to where they don't have electricity in their house. So they started a GoFundMe. This GoFundMe drew some more attention to their lifestyle, and then someone realized, hey, that's the pedophile that we all used to talk about being a pedophile. So I didn't know the extent of it. But apparently, allegedly, it's like multiple convictions through multiple years in multiple states. Like ranging over like 6-8 years in 2 different states, multiple I don't know if it's the same victim or not, but like did it, got convicted in like 2000, got convicted in like 2004, got convicted in like 2006, and in Florida and in Tennessee. And there are people on here that are like, that was 20 years ago. People change. Monsters can change. Blah, blah, blah. Like fucking wild shit, dude. There's no way you catch me out here defending this guy. Look. Lewd, lascivious, battery of a victim, 12 to 15, 2006. Sexual battery by an adult, victim under 12, 2006. Sexual battery by juvenile victim under 12, 2005. Lewd, lascivious, child victim under the age of 16, 2000. Like, it went on for years, multiple convictions. So the GoFundMe thing brought more attention to this. It says, I have a question for Bobby Rutherford and Frank Rogers. That's the 2 guys running for sheriff position that's going to be open. Who is in charge of keeping up with sex offenders who have access to children? I thought sex offenders could not be around children. And the people defending them, I ended up in a back and forth. I ended up in a back and forth. Somebody's like, you wait till this guy catches you out in public. I said, well, at least I know it ain't going to be within fucking 500 feet of a school or a daycare. Can't sneak up on me, motherfucker. Just like wild posts from these people. See if I can find some of the screenshots of this. One of them's name was Melissa, I think. Here's one. The newest charge was 20 fucking years ago. While y'all think it's good to be posting things like this, some people have paid for their crimes and regret them wholeheartedly and have moved on with life bettering themselves. So you should be worried about your immediate threats, not a man who's trying to have a family and live his fucking life. We're not saying he robbed a gas station when he was fucking 15. Okay? He was fucking a kid for years. The fuck is wrong with you? Like, that's pretty wild, right? Also, I want to show you something that's kind of funny. Let me go over to this other page. We'll cover all that tomorrow. So this one guy running for sheriff is having people call out the other guy for running for sheriff for not being a card-carrying Republican, okay? Let me see if I can find the post. It's very funny. Oh, it's probably my notifications, maybe, if it's not too old. Okay, check this out. So it says, well, I see Frank Rogers has put his cards on here, still waiting on Bobby. Elect Bobby Rutherford for Unicoi County, and it tags him and Pam Bailey. Now it says, Frank Rogers, paid member for the 2025-2026 year. Then we get this email, and it's the receipt, okay? Now, he took a screenshot of the receipt, and it says, Tennessee Republican Party to Jonathan Rogers. No reply. Submission receipt. Thank you for your contribution. Let us know if you need any assistance. Summary, he paid a one-time fee to register as a GOP candidate, right? So basically they say, are you a Republican? Yeah, you pay $250 and you're registered as a candidate, okay? Now, what's weird about this is he took this picture to prove that he's a Republican candidate, to shame the other one. They're both fucking Republicans, right? Who cares if they pay the $250 fee to the Republican Party or not? I don't give a fuck. No one's running as a Democrat in Irwin and fucking winning, or in Unicoi County and winning. They're both Republicans, right? What's weird about this screenshot? He took it to shame the other candidate. It's from today. Look at that timestamp. It doesn't say 4 days ago. It doesn't say September. It says 1:52 p.m. If you go to your email box right now, the only ones that'll have a timestamp only, not 4 days ago, a month ago, October 23rd, are the ones that you got today. That motherfucker hasn't been carrying his card in his wallet long enough for it to get warm. The fuck out of here. So I put, are you telling me he just did this today at 1:52 p.m. just for show? The screenshot of the email receipt has time and no date, meaning the receipt was received in an email today, or at least the screenshot was taken the day of receiving the email, as if he would need it 6 months from now. Maybe he just knew he would need this screenshot eventually, took it and kept it in the bank. I could be wrong, but it would seem that if it was older, it would say 2 days ago or a month ago or even older. Would just have the date. Here are random emails from my inbox. And I showed them, like, here's one from today. It says 1:13. Here's one that says 4 days ago. Here's one that says April the 10th. He literally just did it to make a fucking post. And I said, yeah, he's a big-time Republican as soon as his payment clears. Just wait. How fucked up? How fucking stupid? All he had to do was crop it. How fucking stupid are these people? Frank is, Jonathan, yeah. Just crop the motherfucker. You could crop the time off of it. Goddamn. Idiots, dude. Idiots. The mudslinging has started in the sheriff's race. The other reason I think he's dirty is he went to the news. He went to the news talking about, I want to see this other candidate's post-certification. Nobody's seen, like this, where you get certified to be a peace officer. Post-certification. Nobody's seen it. Nobody's got to witness it. I haven't seen it. Have you seen it? Talking to the news in an interview. Come to find out, he pulled the guys through an official request. He pulled all that certification, knew it was valid, and he pulled it back in December of last year, 2025. He pulled it personally, then went to the news this month and said, nobody's seen it. I don't know if he's even certified. He might not be. Why isn't he posting his certification? Motherfucker, you knew he was certified. You're the one who pulled it in December through an official request channel. Like, this shit's fucking getting crazy, dude. Anyway, support the show. I'm trying to buy a house. It's going horrible. We'll see what happens. Thank you guys for joining us. Thank you for being here. Thanks for hanging out with me. I appreciate it. See you about the next one. Have a good night. Let me see you. Bye. We might cover the sheriff's race. It could get interesting. And I'm making a whole lot of enemies.
But I can
maybe we can be live when they kick down the office door. I don't know.
Particular show. You don't have the fork and balls to call out the people on this planet by name and tell them
Stop trying to make me feel better.
Tell them the rest of the world you don't have the fork and balls. You don't have
I'm just trying not to have to run from the sheriff. Be honest with you.
Here we go. I think I started some shit. This month it's about to get lit.
Where's it Suko when you really need to fuck up everybody's day?
You better buckle up cause you ain't seen none yet. Here we go. I think I started some shit.
Cash Patel's getting fired.
Get lit, get the place in them beds. You know that stage is set. You better buckle up, cause you ain't seen.
Cash Patel.
Say that I'm a lunatic. Well, listen, bitch, I came equipped with a quick wit and a 6 cents for the stupid shit. Where my true believer? Y'all need Jesus. Praise the Lord, head to the extreme. All these false fucking prophets who profit off of gossip. Worshipping drums, cocking, begging for a throat deposit. Swinging fucking meat hammers like four in a thong. He's strapped to the shaft, eating his chest like he's King Kong. Starving for attention, I'ma make your gut burst. I'll be your huckleberry, I can quench that thirst. Baby eating lizard people, alien sex. What's next? Trump in a dress, fucking Flynn on his desk. A retard in a vest, climbing up 5G towers. Cause you told him if he did, he'd get fucking superpowers. Here we go, I think I started some shit. Piss them off, it's about to get lit. Get the place in them beds, you know that stage is set. You better buckle up, cause you ain't seen none yet. Here we go, I think I started some shit. Piss them off, it's about to get lit. Get the place in them beds, you know that stage is set. You better buckle up, cause you ain't seen none yet. I used to find clues too when I was high on shrooms. I found myself a tunnel that led to Jason Q's bedroom. Open his closet, I found some of his meat rockets. I strapped it to my shoes and then I flew through the roof. I found myself in orbit strapped to an F-16. High on amphetamine with Trump in between. Put on a light coat of baby oil and saluted the troops. He tapped me on the shoulder and said, "This is gonna be it."
Well, I just think it's time for a change for our sheriff. Like, the sheriff we've had now has been there for like 14 years straight or some shit, right?
Seriously.
And
an
his right-hand man that he basically trained himself is the guy who wants to take over. And when we see like dynasty level like sheriffs like that, usually something's been dropped and it's done a certain way and it's kept hidden from the public. When we have a brand new guy that had nothing to do with the last guy come in, we usually learn a lot more. Things change, policies are implemented. I think it goes better that way. When we have one guy train the next guy and he's there for another 14 fucking years, now we're 30 years down the road and something that was dropped the ball on day one has just been treated the same way. Maybe they don't even fucking know that they're not abiding by this or doing this right or whatever. But still, it's all done the same way by the same people for the same amount of time and nothing changes. It's time for a change. 100%.
String and they acting like they know hitters. Assholes throwing bullshit, sending bronze to the shitter. All this nonsense on my conscience, it's hard to sleep at night. Who the fuck is in my window with this time of the night? These parasites, these leeches, with all their secret meetings, teaching all you fucking cretins about baby eating heathens. Believing in reason with no meaning is bullshit. Will Bird.
Have a good night, guys. Solicit sex responsibly.
Here we go, I think I started some shit. Piss them off, it's about to get lit.